Thank you for the lovely introduction. I just want to preface today that I'm not really here to teach you how to become the next TikTok star. Quite frankly, it would be the wrong hire to do that. As I was saying, I got started in the business 3 months before the pandemic hit. So I really couldn't do any sort of prospecting that we're all told we're supposed to do when we get into business. I couldn't go door knocking, I couldn't do open houses. At the time I started when I was 21 years old, and so I didn't have any friends that were buying or selling real estate. I couldn't lean onto my sphere of influence. And I think that it's 2022. Everyone Googles everything nowadays. I mean, your digital presence is so incredibly important today, and especially in this shifting market. I mean, can we just agree the market's pretty freaking weird right now? And so it's really important moving forward into 2023 to really be leaning into your digital brand. We have to go back to the basics. We don't have any low-hanging fruit when it comes to business anymore. We don't have 100 people at our open house begging for our business. So we really need to make sure that, our brand looks really amazing, because I guarantee you that if you have a listing appointment tomorrow, that client is going to be Googling you and figure out everything that they can about you before you show up at their doorstep. And you want to make sure that you're creating a perception that you're credible, you're trustworthy, you're successful, you know what you're doing, and that they want to work with you. And if you're creating any other perception, that's not going to do well for you and your business. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I gotta find my clicker. Here we go. So success in the digital world, we need to understand the digital divide. Now, have most of you guys met Chris Leader before? Yeah, all right. So you guys know Chris is in his 60s. I'm 23 now. And so that's an example of us having a digital divide. I always text Chris, and then Chris calls me back, and then I text him back, and he calls me. And that's just how things work. And I think we have to understand who our target demographic is, because all of us in this room are going to be working with very different groups of clientele, and all of them are going to receive messages very differently, say a 30-year-old versus a 60-year-old. So first you're going to have your millennials. Now millennials, they prefer texting. This is basically somewhat my generation. We're the type of people that are always heads down, we're walking, looking at our phones, and probably bump into you when we're walking down the street. It's unfortunate, but we grew up with technology. Technology is basically our life. They remain social through social media. And so we're not the biggest fans of getting on the phone, but we have to remember that this is a trust business, this is a relationship business, and at the end of the day, we need to do business face-to-face, and also do it on the phone. Talking to people and not just texting. Buying or selling a house is a big deal. It's a lot of money, it's very emotional, and so we can't be texting our clients about this stuff. So even if you do have a millennial client, even if they're texting you about everything, about writing an offer and all this stuff, you want to say, hey, this is a big decision, there's a lot to discuss right now, why don't we get on the phone or meet for coffee and talk about this in person. Next, you're going to have boomers. Boomers, they prefer emailing. Also, did you guys get workbooks?
Yes.
Okay, everyone has a workbook? Okay, just making sure. And so boomers, they prefer emailing. They didn't grow up with technology, but technology kind of got introduced into their life halfway through. And we always like to joke, they grew up with TV. Back then you had 3 channels, and now you have like 100 channels and nothing to watch and everything to watch in the past. But they are, they get emails, they like to sit with information, they like to really take some time to respond. I think we're all guilty also of receiving email, reading it, and then unreading it, and then going back to it later. So this is kind of like how they like to do business. And then you have seniors, and they prefer phoning. And quite frankly, usually they probably don't even have a cell phone. They probably have a landline, and if you call them, you're just hoping that they can get down the stairs fast enough, or the TV's not playing too loud for them to get to the phone. This reminds me of, I had a client earlier this year. We were selling her condo in LA, and she was in her late 70s, and it was the worst because you're trying to figure out a plan, like a logistical schedule. And I was trying to figure out getting a gardener up to a rooftop to put in new plants. So I'd call her and be like, okay, so you want to do a garden? She's like, yeah, great. And then I was like, so call my gardener and figure out what plant, call her back. Which plants do you want? You want this plant, this plant? She's like, no, I don't want that one. They have to call back her gardener, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's a little inconvenient, but that's kind of how they like to do business. They're not too great with email and texting. That's just good luck with that. So it's not just the method, right? There we go. It's not just the method, it's the message. And so the reason why we're talking about this before we get into social media and marketing and all this stuff is because you need to understand how to refine your message. And that someone in their 30s, for example, they're probably in a very different part of their life versus someone who's retiring. And so they're going to be receiving a very different message that's important to them than someone who's older. So someone in their 30s, usually they're settling down, they're having kids, maybe getting married, they're usually your first-time home buyer. And then you have people in their 40s, that's the sandwich generation. The kids are growing up, the parents are getting older, there's a lot on their plate. You have people in their 50s, they're saving for retirement. They're basically calculating out how many years they have left to live with how much money they have. And then you have people in their 60s that are downsizing and simplifying their life. And these are the people that the kids are out of the house, they don't want the kids to come back, so they're trying to get a house that's smaller, so there's not enough bedrooms for the kids to stay for extended periods of time. And so all of these messages are very different. So you need to figure out who do you connect with most. And people like to work with people that are like them. Now granted, you don't have to be 40 years old to work with a generation that's in their 40s. For example, there's an agent in LA that I know, and she had to deal with the process of her mother passing away and going through an estate sale. It was a very emotional process, and it was very similar to a probate process. And so that's become her niche group because she can really have that, she can empathize with that feeling. She has emotions of going through that experience herself. That's her value and that's her experience, so that's her target niche. So I hope in this room today you kind of really think about who do you want to work with and then how do you refine that message. Communication is all about being thoughtful. Again, you need to ask your client how they prefer to communicate, because if, say, you have a millennial that actually really likes to get on the phone and you're texting them all the time, they're going to get really annoyed with you. And we don't want our clients to be annoyed with us, especially if we're trying just to get into that process of locking them down or maybe still a prospective client. We want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to continue to build that trust. We want to connect with them, not create a disconnect. So we're going to talk about personal websites now. So personal websites, this is essentially the hub of your business. This is where everyone goes first to check you out. And so statistically, 75% of consumers admit that they judge a business's credibility based off of their website. And so I have a question for you guys. Do you guys know where this is? It says it right there. Anyone recognize it? This is Beverly Hills, right? So when you're thinking about it, obviously if you're selling real estate out here, you're not going to be putting a picture of Beverly Hills on your website, because then people are going to go on your website and get really confused. Even if it looks nice, it's luxury, you need to make sure that you have a very direct message and that you're showcasing you're a local expert. So you want to start by building out your profile on the company site. Now, I don't know how you guys do that here. Does your brokerage have an office website specific with all the agents and the rosters, and does it rotate profiles?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. So obviously the algorithm is not going to rotate your profile if your profile is not completely filled out. I mean, how many times do we see agents that have profiles that just have like a silhouette cut out of their headshot, or there's no bio, they have no websites linked, no social media links? Naturally, the algorithm of that website is not going to want to promote you, because if I was a buyer or seller going onto that office location page, I don't want to be seeing a silhouette cut out. So please make sure that your profiles are all filled out. That's really, really important. You also want to build a custom site focused on your community. Again, when you're in real estate, you're not just selling a house, you're selling a community, an area, a neighborhood. And so we need to make sure that we're deeming ourselves as a local expert. There's so many sources of real estate information around us, the media, so many agents, and so we want to make sure that we're the go-to person for that client to call if they have any questions about real estate or the market or your neighborhood. You want to include a welcome video on your homepage for two reasons. Number one, this is really great for your SEO. Your SEO is your search engine optimization. Now what SEO is, if you don't know what that is, essentially is how you rank in a search browser. So in Google, for example. Now, can someone give me an example of an area or neighborhood here? I guess we're in Milton. I can talk about Milton. All right, so let's say you Googled real estate in Milton. You want to be making sure, if you had good SEO, that your name is going to be popping up at the top of the list. That's basically how you increase your chances of being discovered. And video plays a great part into boosting your ranking on a search engine. The other reason why you want to make sure you have a welcome video is I'm sure you've been hearing now forever for the last few years that video marketing is the future of marketing, and that future is now, it's happening today. You probably noticed that with any marketing in any industry, a lot of them are very much so geared towards video marketing. And we are in a relationship business. We want people to trust us. We need to showcase that we are human, that we're relatable, that they can be friends with us. I think also, technically all of us in this room are competition. You're all technically competition to one another. But I'm also a firm believer that all of us have very different personalities and we're all going to attract a very different clientele. And so that's why welcome videos are so incredibly important, because this is a way for you to showcase who you are as a person and who you are as an agent and help build that more of a relationship with a client versus just going onto a page and seeing a headshot. It's just not very relatable. So we're going to watch a video example. This is of a woman named Kate in Vancouver, and she did a really amazing job with this video. And when you're watching it, I want you to really think about what the hidden messages are in the video, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
My name is Kate Miller, and I have been actively selling real estate since 2001 in Vancouver. Born and raised in North Van, and I feel very fortunate to live here, to work in this community. There's days that I drive over the Landscape Bridge and I look at the city, I look at the water, the mountains, and I think, how are we so lucky to live here? And for me, it means a lot to serve the community, to share this community with others, and to work in real estate in Vancouver.
Kate cares a lot. You can feel it from her heart. She comes from her heart. And she cares about the people and your home. My name is Gary.
My name is Robin.
Kate was a realtor, and we loved her. She was the best.
Hi, I'm Norm Sillins.
And I'm Alita Sillins. Kate brought a positivity. We just had a really good feeling about her right from the start.
My name is Shelley, and I have had the pleasure of both selling and buying with Kate. She has an incredible work ethic, finds out exactly what it is you're looking for.
Staging, preparing the landscaping for the house, financial contacts, all those components that really made the transaction a lot simpler.
I'm thrilled to be working with my sister, Stephanie. She's been with me for about 1.5 years now, and she excels at the marketing, the behind the scenes, social media promotion, and I feel really grateful to have her as part of my team.
What you're looking for is someone who's going to work in your best interests, who you can trust, and who works with integrity. Kate provides that in spades.
She listened, and she was very supportive.
We knew the whole time that she had our back. It was not just the two of us, it was like a team.
And she knows her market incredibly well.
I got into real estate really because I love working with people, and my background was hospitality, service industry, and real estate is a service. There's good emotions involved, there's also more stressful emotions, but for me, I never lose sight of the fact that I'm providing a service for my clients, and I do whatever I can to make that experience as stress-free as possible. I've aligned myself with some of the best trades and professionals in the community. The reason I did that is I really wanted a team to call upon to help my sellers to make that experience less stressful. We do whatever we can to make your house showcase to its best potential. Because if we're not, we are leaving money on the table.
We tell everybody about Kate.
I wouldn't hesitate to recommend Kate to anyone.
We would strongly recommend her for your next financing transaction.
Absolutely.
If I hear someone is selling a home, I always tell them to go with Kate, hands down. It'll be the best decision for me.
All right, what do we think? Yeah, you're so quiet. Come on, you need some energy today. All right, just a quick question. With the lights on, can you still see the slides really well, or do you want one of them off? Off? For the whole class? Let's see. Is that better, or do you want both off for the whole class? Both off? Are you guys all in agreement with that? Okay. All right, so what are some hidden messages that you picked up watching that video? In the back. Kate's the best, yes, in the back.
Referrals.
Referrals. So she had like client testimonials. Did we notice anything about the client testimonials in particular? They're very diverse, right? So she was showcasing that she works with multiple groups of people. Any other messages we picked up?
She's very committed to her community and where she lives.
Yes, very committed to her community. I think she also really honed down the fact that she grew up there. She's a part of that community, and people want to make sure that they feel like they're working with someone that is really embedded into that web. So yes, I agree with that. Anything else? Oh, come on, guys, you're killing me. Over here, yes.
Well, she also loves her community, so she's happy to be there selling it and, you know, providing homes for people in the
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, she creates the energy. She loves what she does. She loves it. It makes her feel good to provide a service. Okay.
She provides all the different services that you need to provides the best.
Yes, yes. So she had a list of vendors. She really showcased that she was a one-stop shop. I think that's important for us as agents to showcase that we have connections. That's really important for us to communicate to our clients. We have cleaners, stagers, inspectors, gardeners. Our clients want to make sure that they feel like that this process is going to be easy for them. And as agents, we do that by having our own connections. So yes, I love that. Anything else that we notice?
Family business.
What's that?
Work with
Family business. Yes.
Her
Sister. Yes, yes. Do we notice anything about the water bottles? Anyone pick up on that?
Yeah.
What does she do with them? She labeled them and she also turned them. She was being very diligent, very detail oriented. But I think she did a really amazing job branding herself. So she had those water bottles labeled, she had the doormat, her flyers, all of the same consistency in terms of her brand, the coloring. If you showed up at her open house, you would know, oh, this is Kate's listing. And I think we all want to create that feeling when we have a listing that if someone shows up to our open house, that they're like, oh, this is this person's listing. So think about in your own business, what are little things that you can do to consistently brand yourself across the board and stick with it to create that knowledge that if someone shows up to your door, they know exactly who they're working with and they already have a good reputation about you. And this is great for sellers too. I mean, neighbors are always so nosy. Neighbors always go to the open houses. They want to know what's going on. And if you're doing an amazing job putting the house together and branding it, that's going to look really good for you. Possibly open up a door for another listing as well. So the next video we're going to watch is very different from Kate's video. So this is a guy, his name is Joseph. He lives in Minneapolis. I actually had the chance to meet with him last month when we were traveling for classes. And he has a different approach, but we'll watch this and I want you to think about what the differences are and what this hidden message is.
One of the greatest feelings ever known is turning that gold key to your new home. A place to lay the foundation for a family. Upon that sacred structure, build a legacy. Vision seen through the peepholes of dream homes, welcome to a new reality. Home ownership is a possibility for all people to achieve. The majority seem to think that owning a home requires a lot of cha-ching. This false impression is misconception. Listen close.
Grab a pen and pad and take notes. At the top of your paper, right? There's a trend of far too many people out of the know. And ask yourself, am I one of those people? All you need is a 620 credit score, good employment history, and as low as 3% down payment on your loan to carry you over the threshold. Not to mention, there are countless programs specializing in down payment assistance, all to benefit and transition you into home ownership. With current interest rates combined, owning a home is cheaper than rent. Stabilize and build communities, help neighborhoods thrive and grow. Build your own source of growth through equity and escrow. Your new home shares the likeness of a throne. For many, homeowning is embarking on uncharted territory. Please, ease your anxiety. I know of a great real estate expert with superior professionalism, wisdom, and integrity, willing and honored to accommodate your housing needs. The professional in which I speak is me, Joseph T. Adams, dedicated to superb services. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance.
What do we think about this one? You guys all need some coffee. Yeah, sorry. Whatever. Any hidden messages we picked up in this one? It was very different. Was it different?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was his message?
Education.
Education. Yes, educating home buyers. And did he really play on a feeling with that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was very empowering. I think his hidden message was that homeownership is possible. And I think especially as we're heading into the market in the future, especially with interest rates going up and up and up, that is going to be a conversation with a lot of our buyers about wanting to wait, or they don't want to buy anymore, or they want to wait. And so we need to make sure that we're educating people and making sure that people know that it's possible and that it is the right decision to be buying right now. Anything else that we picked up on?
You seem to really care about improving the state of the community.
Yes, yes, I agree. So really making sure that people are coming together, improving the community. I believe Chris Leader said that the White House had reached out to him for him to run for governor or something like that. But he turned down basically this career in politics because his true destiny, his own feeling was that this is what it's meant to be. I want to be in real estate. I want to improve the community. I want to rebuild this town. I believe this is the town that went through the whole case with George Floyd, and so in the last recent years, it's been really difficult for them, and so that's really his passion. But I hope you noticed that this video was very, very different from Kate's video. And at the same time, there are two very different people with two very different personalities that are going to be connecting with very, very different clientele. And so there's no one right way to do video. I think at the end of the day, as long as you remain authentic with what you do, then that's all that matters. And focus less on what everyone else is doing and more so what you can do to brand yourself. So you want to design it for your target market. You make sure that all the pictures and the content are relatable to the area that you're specializing in. Are there any iconic places here in Milton?
Jail.
The jail? Alright, maybe not do that one on your website. I would go on that and be like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. Anything else, maybe besides the jail?
Scarman. It's kind of a mountain.
Okay.
Scarman.
Okay, Scarman.
Yeah. So you have beautiful views here in Milton.
Okay. All right. So you would put that on your website, right? So if someone's looking to buy or sell Milton and they see that picture, they're going to know that they're in the right place. So think about, if you guys are all specializing in specific areas, and if you're outside of Milton, really think about what's iconic to that neighborhood and then how you can play with that in your brand. You want to showcase your local expertise. This really helps build trust. Again, when someone's buying a house, they're buying not just the structure, but the lifestyle, the community, what it's like to live there, who the people are, what do people do on the weekends, what are things that people do in the community, what are restaurants. And so you want to make sure that you are that go-to place to get all of that information. You want to include a blog. Now blogs, they're really important because they're going to boost your SEO again. So this is going to get really picked up in the algorithm, that you're showcasing that you're a relevant source of information, and the algorithm sees that you're consistently continuing to post things. It's going to trust you more and more and bump you up in their rankings. Now I know for most of us in this room, probably the idea of sitting down every week and writing a blog does not sound fun. Are we all in agreement with that? Yeah. Anyone here like to write blogs? Yeah, that's what I thought. So a theme in today's class I want to emphasize is that not everything that you do needs to be original. Sometimes the best ideas are already created. Now I'm not saying go ahead and copy and paste someone else's article, but there are so many resources out there with amazing information. Maybe your brokerage has their own blog. Do you guys use Keeping Current Matters out here? Yes, I don't know if that's as popular out here than it is in the states where I'm from, but KCM, that's another source of really great information. So maybe think about what great places of real estate information that you guys have here in Canada that you can lean on and take that information and then incorporate it into a blog of yours. Now, optimizing your website, so your SEO, search engines love video, so please make that welcome video. I think that will really make an impact in your business. But also, if you're creating a YouTube channel, which we'll talk about later today, if you create a YouTube channel and you have videos linked up, you can take those links in your YouTube channel and embed them into your website. And when a website and the algorithm sees that one website is sourcing multiple other websites and vice versa, that's going to build trust and credibility in the SEO algorithm. You want to choose a memorable domain name. This is probably not always the first thing that we think about, but your domain name is really important to the fact that even large corporations nowadays will pay millions and millions and millions of dollars just for the right, perfect domain name. And I think if you think about it in your own life, if you ever go onto a website and just like it's like a .co instead of a .com or something just seems funny, you get that like feeling in your stomach like, am I about to get scammed? I don't know, you question mark over your head. And so we want to make sure that we're not creating any red flags in our own business. Typically, I think most agents will do their first and last name.com, but you can get creative with it. If you have a tagline or something that's really going to represent your brand, go ahead and do that. For example, there's an agent in Beverly Hills, he goes by Sold by Gold, because gold is his last name. So that's something that he's played into his whole career. And so think about what you want to do, but then make sure that it's consistent, because if your website is different from your Instagram handle, from your Facebook handle, and there's no consistency, people are not going to be able to put all three of those things together. Keywords will help search engines rank your site. So if you're selling in Milton, for example, you want to make sure that Milton, the word Milton, is all over that website. And so if someone looks up real estate in Milton or a real estate agent in Milton, that your name's going to be getting popped up. That's what we want to do, is increase your chances of being discovered. Now, current content is king. With everything that you do in real estate and in this business, you need to be relevant and you need to be consistent, and that's the same that goes with building your digital presence. You want to make sure that everything that you're doing is consistent with what's happening today. And so if you're posting a blog, obviously you don't talk about interest rates from 3 months ago. Inbound links, also known as backlinks, this is going to increase your rankings. Now, essentially what this is linking, oh, sorry. No, you're good. I want you to ask questions.
Where are you posting these on? On YouTube, the blog, everything on YouTube?
So on your website.
On the website?
Yes, yes. And then, but again, you're basically repurposing your content. So if you're posting on YouTube, that's another place to get discovered. But by posting your YouTube videos, for example, onto your website, then you're creating that sense of trust between the two platforms, and the algorithm will pick up on that.
And the search words, that's for your website as well?
Sorry?
The search words we were just talking about?
Yes, keywords. So making sure that, like, if you have your website, for example, you have a community breakdown. So on my website, I have communities and then different communities on the west side, for example. And so I'll write about each community and I'll put in my keywords in there. Basically, you want to scatter these words all throughout your website. Great question, though. Please ask questions today, guys. I do like questions. So you want inbound links. This is essentially what I was saying with linking another website onto your website and vice versa. And you can also go to backlinks.com. This is a great place to see what websites are also linking you. So I know Chris, for example, him and Tina, they have Leader's Edge, and they looked this up on backlinks, and they had like over 700 different websites that were mentioning them. And sometimes it's really interesting to see what people, who's mentioning you. But this is great, to see also if someone's posting about you or talking about you, you know exactly what's going on and what they're saying and why they're saying it. You want to promote your website everywhere. As agents, we're constantly putting out marketing materials, business cards, flyers, brochures, doorknob hangers, if you close a listing. Everything that you put out into the world, you want to make sure that has your branding, your website, your social media, because you want people to look this up. And when they look you up and everything looks amazing, then it's going to, again, build trust and credibility and create this perception that you're very successful and that they want to work with you. And also, I will say, if you're new in this business, just raise your hands. Who's new in here, maybe like the last 3 years? Yeah, so I know for when you're newer, you don't have as much, going on. You don't have as much success as maybe the seasoned agent. And that's okay, because there's a great way to create this perception of yourself on social media and on your website that you are, a high-value agent, that you know what you're doing, and that if everything looks exceptionally high quality, it's going to translate that message. And that's basically how I got started with my career, because I did this on social media. Even though I was brand new and I had never done a deal before, but I was going around and taking videos of other people's listings, talking about the market, providing educational information. I deemed myself as an expert, even though I had never done a deal before. But no one would ever have known that. Google Analytics will break down your website traffic, and also you want to create a Google Business Profile. Anyone here not know what a Google Business Profile is? Really? Everyone knows? Because no one usually ever always knows in all my classes. All right, so let's say if you don't know what it is, if you're too shy to admit it, it's okay. Say is there a good restaurant around here? Anyone knows it? No. No, no. All right. What about outside of Milton? Give me a restaurant, anything.
Casa Americos.
Casa
Americos.
Casa Americo?
Casa Americos good too.
That's interesting. That's like English and Spanish.
And
Yeah.
you guys didn't influence it, so.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, good to know. All right, so if I Googled Casa America, is that how you say it? That is really tripping up with my head. All right, if I Googled Casa America, the first thing that I see when it pops up is a Google business profile. It has pictures, the title of the business, the hours that they're open, links to their menu, links to their website, a map on how to get to this destination. So you can do that for your real estate business. And all of you should have that, because again, it adds trust and credibility, and also it's a great place to get reviews from your clients as well. And completely free. Also, every single month, they will send you an analytics breakdown, so you can see how many people have looked up your profile, have clicked on it, engaged with it, and also how many people have called you directly off of it as well. Now, this is an example of my own personal website. Now, what do you guys use out here to design your websites? I'm just curious.
There's a ton of different providers.
Okay, so you don't have one specific to your brokerage? Okay, can anyone just shout out some names of what platforms that they use? Does anyone have a website in this room?
So there's
Okay.
some of the important ones are Agent Locator, MCS,
Okay,
your KB Core.
okay, all right, so those are some great examples. I've never heard of any of them, but that's okay. I'm in a different country, I have to remind myself of that. So those are some great places to use to build your website. Personally, I use Wix. Do you guys know, have you heard of Wix before?
Yeah.
Okay, so I use Wix. This is what I built my website on as an example. But there are a lot of really user-friendly websites out there. Yes? Web for Realty, that's another one. Okay, awesome.
They focus on real estate.
Amazing. Okay, so I hope you're picking up from this conversation that there's so many options. Yes?
So when you do yours on Wix,
Yes.
like, are you able to integrate listings to it? Like, how do you do that?
Great question. So can I integrate my listings onto Wix? The problem, unfortunately, Wix, it's not specific to be a real estate website. So if I do have any listings on there, I have to manually import them in, which can be a little annoying, but that's the route that I chose to go with 3 years ago, and I'm sticking with it. But for the most part, most of the stuff is really set up and I can leave it. So the community profiles, I have my home buyer's guide, my seller's guide, I have a media page where I've linked all my YouTube videos. In terms of the listings, I have to manually do it. Also, my brokerage specifically has a separate profile where it has all my deals that I can showcase as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Wix, this was relatively cheap for a premium website to have your own custom domain. It's very user-friendly, so if you need a place to build a website, you can. I know, what's another good one? WordPress is another great website platform as well. All of them are very user-friendly, drag and drop template style. So please make sure that you're creating a really great, professional, good-looking website. If you don't have one going already, or maybe you're not proud of it, I would say, this week take some time to refine it, because again, your website is going to be the hub of your business. If you have a listing appointment tomorrow, I guarantee you that they're looking at your website. So you want to make sure that your website looks incredible and is creating the perception that you are a high-value agent. Do you have a question back here?
I just have a comment in that you're saying that websites are really like a 75% hit rate. What about Instagram and all those other social media sites?
Yes.
Do they not get hit first?
Great question. So I'm a firm believer that if a prospective client is looking you up, they're going to check two places. They're going to check your website to make sure that you're a legitimate, credible business. And then they're going to check social media, which is where they're going to make sure that you're basically a real human and that you're a personality and someone they want to work with. So I think both are going to get hit. But I would think about it this way. All of us in this room, when we look up a business in any industry, a dentist, a doctor, a shopping store, we always go to the website to make sure that they're legit. And if something seems off with that, then you start to think, oh, is this not real? Is it a scam? Something doesn't feel right. And so we have to remind ourselves that we're all business owners in this room. And so we have to make sure that we have both of them. So we'll talk about social media later, but you want to make sure you have both. Yes?
Don't people just Google everyone first?
They do. But when you Google someone, all of their links are going to pop up. So if you Google me, you're gonna see my Google business profile, you're gonna see my website, you're going to see my Coldwell Banker profile, you're gonna see all of my social media links. And so that's the whole point of creating this SEO, that someone looks you up, everything checks out, and there's multiple sources for them to look into you.
So they do that and then go to your website?
Yes, exactly. Think about it when you're searching someone up in another industry. We Google up their name and then we click on all the different links and make sure that, that they're a real person. And that's why I think you've all heard that you don't want to be a secret agent in this business. People need to know you exist. Obviously, if people don't know that you exist, you're not going to get any business. And we all want business and we all want commissions. So you need to make sure that you're creating a brand for yourself. Yes, back here.
Yeah, I was going to mention to you also, we are also part of the KV core system.
Okay.
So we have basically templated websites for every Royal Page agent.
Amazing.
That can be customized through templates, and all that has SEO.
Great. Does everyone in this room know that? No? I got some notes. Can you elaborate more on where they can find this?
So it's basically ROP Sphere.
Can everybody hear him from up here? Okay.
So it's ROP Sphere, and so every agent would have johndoe.royalpage.ca. And then if you have your own URL, you can point it to that johndoe.royalpage.ca, and it's a template-driven system. Anyway, if you have any questions, maybe you can talk to your managers and maybe kind of give you more details on it.
Awesome. All right. Good to know. We love. And is it free? Is it free?
Yes.
All right. We love free stuff. So yeah, talk to your manager about that. Yes.
I can say something about RLP Sphere. It has a lot in it. A lot. It will connect your customer database. It will connect all the squeeze programs and so forth. Put it in your website. It'll send those leads right to your database. It will, just like Oliver was saying, your website can be connected to it. All of the social medias can be connected with it. It is a lot. It will send out emails automatically to your clients, giving them information. It is a lot. You really have to sit down and pay attention to it because it encompasses a lot of the times today.
Amazing. All right. One-stop shop. That's awesome. So definitely check that out. Ask your managers if you don't know how to access it or how to use it. Do you have any more questions about websites? Yes.
I just want to go back to the length of the branding video. Sorry, just because I didn't know you taking questions at the time. The first video was a bit longer than the second one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, can you just speak to the length of it? Because I feel like, Reels, you've got like 5 seconds.
Yes.
TikTok's 10 seconds. So is that, like, what would you say is an optimal length?
Yeah, so obviously you don't want the video to be too long. I don't think there's the perfect answer. Like I can't tell you, it needs to be exactly 1 minute and 5 seconds. But overall, you just want it to be short and sweet. So if you're watching it and you're going, this seems a little long or it seems a little dragged out, then maybe cut it down. I wish I could give you a specific number, but I would say short and sweet is always our goal with all the videos that we do. Humans nowadays have really bad attention spans and it's getting worse and worse and worse, especially with TikTok and Instagram Reels and all of this stuff. Maybe keep it under a minute. Enough to showcase your personality a bit and win them over, but not drag it on forever and ever. Yes. Any other questions? I'm just getting blank stares. Everyone's tired. All right, moving on. So you want to manage your online reputation. Your reputation nowadays is more important than ever because now every single person has a cell phone and has a video camera. And they can go online if they have a bad experience and basically ruin your career, which we do not want to happen. And now people, unfortunately, I think humans like to focus on the negative sometimes. And I think hopefully we'll walk away from this class focusing on the positive. I think positive mindset will change how you do everything in life and change how you look at everything in life. But if you had 100 positive reviews and there was one-star review, I guarantee you someone's gonna go zoom right on into that 1 star. I mean, like, what happened? What do I need to know? Is there something that's going on? Now I don't feel like I trust them. It's kind of the same with Amazon. You look at reviews as well. You have a few good ones and a few bad ones. Yes?
I have a question.
Yes.
Speaking to that, we have Google reviews obviously for our website, and they're all 5-star, great reviews. Somebody went on and put 1 star, no comments, no nothing. So obviously it brings down your 5-star rating.
Yes.
So I did respond and said, it's not my website, but out of 15, and said, I'm sorry I had that experience. I don't believe we've ever worked with you.
Yes.
if there's anything I can help you with, just let me know. And they never responded.
Of course not.
But how do you get rid of that?
That's a great question. That is really tricky.
And I reported it, but they said it wasn't enough information.
Usually they're not very helpful when it comes to reporting stuff. I've heard of people having this issue in the past. Usually they'll have some sort of legal team take care of it. So I don't know if your brokerage has legal
Because
support.
it's somebody who's never done any business with, it's just
Yeah.
somebody just wanted to.
Yeah, I think you made the best decision in responding professionally and positively. That's the best that we can do when we're dealing with controversy. And unfortunately, typically Google won't take them down. So in that scenario, I know people have had success reaching out to some sort of legal team to help them with that. You just have to make the decision if it's worth going through that. But in that situation, if you can't get it down, I think you've made the right decision in responding to it, and also saying that I don't think we've ever worked with you.
Make sure that everybody knew I've never dealt with it.
Yeah, exactly, which is really important. And unfortunately, there are bad people out there. And I think that's also the problem with things being online now is they never have to say it to your face. And so people will get away with saying things online and then, skedaddle. So it's really unfortunate.
Irritating.
Very irritating. Yes, I know how it feels. So in that situation, if you can't get it taken down, I would say always acknowledge it, always comment and respond to it professionally and in a positive sense. And at least you're leaving yourself out there in a good way, and that's all we can do in that situation. Yeah. So you want to choose your clients carefully because of this. And I think we've all been there, that we have met people that we just know in our gut and our intuition that this is going to be a nightmare of an experience working with this client. We've all been there. And if you're new in the business, I know how it also feels because business is business. Money is money. If they're a nightmare of a client, they live an hour away, you're like, I don't care, I'm getting in my car, I'm hitting the gas pedal, I'm going. And, we have to be mindful of this because sometimes these experiences are just not going to do anyone any good. And so you want to be careful if you meet someone and in your gut you're like, I don't know if this is going to turn out very well. Maybe leave that opportunity and walk away and go try and find a better opportunity. We don't want to act in coming from a place of scarcity. We want to come and act from a place of abundance. So the reason why sometimes that we pursue these bad clients is because we have nothing else going on for us. And of course, easier said than done, I get that. But we want to create a problem for ourselves where we have so many clients wanting our business that we get to pick and choose who we want to work with so it's a better experience for ourselves. Customer service now matters more than ever, again, because everyone has a phone, everyone has a camera. And you don't want a negative review. So I'll tell you a story. Everyone here, I'm sure, is familiar with United Airlines. And a while back, they had a band sitting on their airplane, and they played guitars. They're a professional band, and they refused to let them bring those very, very expensive Gibson guitars onto the plane. And so they had to get them chucked under the plane. And so they're sitting in their seats looking at the window, and all of a sudden they see people, they're just throwing their guitar in there, and one of them ends up breaking. And you can probably imagine how upset they were. They're trying to talk to the flight attendant, saying, hey, they need to be more careful with our stuff. And the flight attendants are like, well, there's nothing we can do for you. Sucks to suck, essentially. And so they call customer service, they get on the phone, you know how that goes. Your wait time is 3 hours and 15 minutes. And then you get nowhere. You finally talk to someone, they said, whatever, not our responsibility. And so these guys, being the creative people that they are, they went on and made a music video called United Breaks Guitars. And it became a very viral music video with over 25 million views now. Do you know what happened to United stocks? Plummeted by about $1 billion. They made a point part 2, and that one now has, I believe, a near 5 million views as well. If you ever look it up, the video is actually really entertaining. I looked it up, and I was like, it's probably like a prank video or like a comedic video. It was like a legitimate music video, pretty catchy. So if that happened, you would have thought that United would have learned their lesson, and then they didn't. And next thing you know, a few weeks later, they had somehow booked 2 people to the same flight seat. And it was a full flight. And so they ended up dragging, the guy refused to leave. None of them wanted to leave because both had booked this flight. They have somewhere to be. They ended up dragging one of the guys down the aisle, breaks his nose, and it's just all on camera. And the guy's barricading himself in the mini kitchen because he doesn't want to leave this plane. He's like chucking bread rolls at them. And turns out that guy was a doctor. He was a very legitimate person. He wasn't some crazy person. You'd have thought they would have learned their lesson then. A few weeks later go on, a woman comes on with a dog and her carry-on pet case, and it didn't fit under the seat. And the flight attendant was very insistent that that dog and that carrier had to go in the overhead bin. Back and forth, fighting. Finally, the lady gave up. She couldn't do it. She had no other choice, essentially. They landed and the dog had suffocated to death. So, every single time, their stocks completely just went downhill. And so obviously, hopefully none of us are ever in a similar situation to this, but I hope this showcases that your online reputation is so incredibly important, because if something bad happens and that gets videotaped and put online, you're screwed. So make sure that everything that we do, we're creating exceptional experience, exceptional service for our clients. We want to make sure that we always leave a really great impression on everyone. You want to set up Google Alerts on yourself. This is completely free. So what you can do is actually set up an alert and with your full name or your first name, and if anyone ever posted about you online, you would know about it, and you would know exactly what they said. This is always fun to do on your competitors as well, because I think we all love to see what our competitors are doing and stay up to date with that. So this is really great. I know Chris used to have this set up for the words real estate. I think you can imagine how large his inbox was every single day. I mean, this was global real estate. It was millions and millions of searches every single day from those two words. But his career basically started because he had seen that during the recession that one of the brokerages had bought a new brokerage, and he emailed them to congratulate them. She called him the next day, and then he's been booked ever since speaking. So this can be very valuable and important if you set it up right. You want to search yourself on different search engines. Now this is really important because you need to know exactly what a buyer or seller is going to see if they Google you. This is really important. The other important thing is doing it in incognito mode, private mode. Do we know what that is? It's okay if you don't. Raise your hands if you know what it is. All right, so everyone's hands is not up. So private mode, this is basically, think about it this way. We all know that our phones listen to us, right? They know what we're doing. I think we all believe that. It's like you talk about something with a friend and all of a sudden the next day you're on Instagram and you're getting advertisements for it. It's really creepy. So your phones are constantly searching you and listening to you, watching what you do. So if you Googled yourself on your normal search platform, the results that are going to pop up are going to be different from what a prospective client or seller is going to see because it's catering your results based off of your search history. So by going into private mode is essentially acting as if someone who had never looked you up before is going to see that. So if you have your phones or your laptops, we can do this exercise really quickly. If you have an iPhone, if you go into your Safari, in the bottom right corner you should see two little boxes stacked on top of one another. If you hold that down, there'll be an option to click private mode, or if you click that, another page will pop up. There will be a plus sign in the middle. You can click that there. If you have an Android, there should be in your search browser 3 dots in the corner. You can click that. You'll see private mode as an option. You can also do this on your laptop by going to File and then New Incognito Mode. So this is really great. Also a little fun tip, not real estate related, if you're traveling, if any travels are coming up soon and you're trying to book flights, do you ever notice that if you're looking at flights, the prices always seem to get higher and higher and higher every time you go on? It's because it's tracking you and they know that you want to fly to Hawaii, for example, and so if they know you're going, they're going to keep bumping up the prices. So by doing it in incognito mode, is know that you've been looking things up, and so the prices will stay where they need to be. It's a little fun tip for the holidays. Do you have any questions about getting into private mode on your phone? We're good? Not good? I got blank stares. Good, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. All right, so you want to make the most of social media. Now, the biggest challenge with social media now is the commitment. I wouldn't say so much so the financial commitment, but more so the time commitment. It takes time to create content and upload it and post it and all that stuff. I think the other biggest challenge, do you guys ever feel like, raise of hands, that you just don't know what to post? You ever feel like that? The creativity aspect of it is really difficult. I get it. Me too. I'm in that boat every single day. So we will be doing a breakout session later today where you guys will work with your teams to kind of come up with a list of social media ideas. I think this will be really great. So hopefully you never feel like that you're in the position you're like, I don't know what to post. But also, as I said earlier, sometimes the best ideas are already created. and you should lean into what other agents are doing as inspiration. When I was brand new in the business and I saw someone creating really great social media content who was a realtor, and especially if they were younger, I would get really insecure about it. At the time, I was just like, I don't feel good. Why is this person doing so great? They're so much more successful than me. They only seem a few years older than me. Started beating myself up about it. And then I had this shift in my mindset about a year and a half ago. I was like, why am I getting so upset about this? They have the key to all this amazing content that I can basically recreate. And so a lot of my video content or my Instagram reels, those are ideas or concepts or topics that I've heard from other agents. I rewrote it into my own words and then recreated the content. They would never know. It's not like you're taking it word from word, but like approaching how interest rates are being discussed. It's the way things are worded, you can get inspired. So we'll do a breakout session though later today. I think that will be really beneficial for you guys. Social media will not replace prospecting, and I want to make that very, very clear. You still need to be doing all the things that we hate doing. Door knocking, cold calling, open houses, networking events. You need to be putting yourself in front of people. I want to make that very clear. I might have built a lot of my business on social media, but I still do all of the things that we need to be doing with prospecting. That's very, very important. Now, am I saying that you can't get clientele from social media? That's not the case. Of course you can, but it takes time. For me, to be completely honest with you, it took me a year and a half of consistent video content creation before I landed my first client directly through social media. Now, social media, what I think should really be used for is legitimizing yourself as a business owner. So if you do meet someone at an open house, so you have a really great conversation with them, you hand them your business card, they leave after 20 minutes, and they look you up, they're going to trust you more if they see that you have some sort of social media platform that showcases that you're an expert, you've been in business for a while, you're creating all this educational content. That's going to allow them to trust you more versus if they look you up, there's nothing online.
Sorry,
Yes?
I just have a quick question for you.
Yes.
You know when you post to Instagram or Facebook or you can link it so it posts to both. Is it more
Yes.
beneficial to do it both separately or does it matter?
Link them together. So link your business Facebook and business Instagram page. It makes things easier on you. I do it as
I
well.
just didn't know if you got more.
Nope. Yeah, knock out two birds with one stone. Yes. So to be successful, you must be authentic, of course, with everything that we do. Now, I know sometimes filming in front of a camera is very uncomfortable. Raise your hands, do we feel uncomfortable when we're filming video? You're like, I don't like how I look today. I don't like how I sound. Something doesn't seem right. The lighting doesn't seem right. We have to remind ourselves that we are all human, and we all feel that way. The majority of my videos I watch and go, oh my God, why is my hair sticking out that way? Or I said that word really funny. But we have to remember that we're all super hypercritical of ourselves. I guarantee you someone's not sitting there going, oh my God, her bang was like over here and not over there, right? So we need to remember that social media is not about us. And it's not about validating ourselves, it's not about feeling good about ourselves, but more so creating valuable educational content that people are going to want to work with us in the future. Social networking is a long-term strategy, so please don't think that you're going to leave class today, post 3 Instagram reels, and then wake up with 10 new buyer clients tomorrow, okay? I want to make that very clear. It takes time. It takes time to build anything when it comes to real estate. Farming, for example. Usually farming statistically takes 12 to 18 months before you get a response from it, and that's if you're doing everything right. And so you want to make sure that you're approaching this with a long-term strategy. This is not about prospecting. Let's define prospecting versus marketing. Prospecting is you going out and getting the business. This is you going face-to-face with people. This is the fastest way to a commission check. This is you talking to people one-on-one about real estate if they want to buy or sell. Marketing, this is you putting something out pretty out into the world and just letting it sit there working for you, and hopefully in time maybe someone finds it and comes and asks to work with you. So we need to make sure that we're doing both. We're not confusing both. I think it's easy sometimes also that in our minds we don't want to do the prospecting, and so we do something related to marketing and makes us feel good. You're like, oh, I sent out 500 postcards today, I feel great, and then you don't go and door knock those postcards. The impact of those postcards is going to go downhill. So we need to learn how to hunt before we learn how to farm. So you need to be doing the prospecting and you need to be doing the marketing, the social media as well. Don't just choose one or the other. You want to engage your audience with local information. So again, we want to be the one-stop shop for all the community information, not just about real estate, what's happening with the local market, interest rates, also what's happening in the community, best restaurants, local attractions. It's the holiday season. A lot of restaurants and businesses, they'll typically do holiday events. You want to be on top of all this information so you can share that to your clientele. So focus on the community, stores, dining, and attractions, as I just said. And you want to share aspirational lifestyle photos and decorating ideas. Now the reason for this is that if all of you post on social media as just listed, just sold, it's going to get boring very quickly. And don't get me wrong, definitely post when you have the new listing or something just sold, but we need to create a diverse amount of content. Because let's say, for example, you have someone following you on social media and they're not looking to buy or sell for the next 3 years. They're going to be more inclined to opt out of your social media and marketing because you're not providing any sort of value to them. They don't want to see that you're buying and selling or something's available in the market because it's not applicable to them. But if you're doing that with sprinkling in tips about, I don't know, how to increase your home value, little DIY projects for your kitchen to increase home value, or gardening tips, or, you know, as listing agents, we learn a lot of tips about decorating and staging. So you want to share a diverse amount of information, not just properties, because we want to make sure that we're keeping your clients entertained and they're not getting bored of the same thing over and over and over again. You want to comment, share, and have conversations. Social media is all about being social, obviously. And I love social media because I think this is a great way for us to stay top of mind with our clients without being up in their face saying, hey, do you want to buy or sell real estate? I think our friends and family start to get really annoyed with us and past clients because they're like, no, I don't want to buy or sell. And so this is a great way for you to subtly pop up your name all over the place from time to time and reminding people that you're in real estate without being in their face asking for business. So one of my things that I love to do is hearting stories on Instagram. Because when you heart a story on Instagram, your name pops up to the very top of that list when they see who's watched their story. And subconsciously, they're going to be seeing your name over and over and over again. So comment, DM, engage with other people's content, and in return they'll also engage with your content as well. Social media, you want to make it a part of your morning high five. So every morning I'm going to send out 5 emails, 5 texts, 5 handwritten notes, 5 slide dials, and then 5 social media posts or comments or DMs, essentially like your hour of power. This goes back to prospecting, making sure that we're having conversations about real estate and not just putting something out in terms of marketing. All right, let's try and slow down a little bit. So I got a great question over here, which was, what do you mean by being authentic? Like, how am I supposed to be authentic? And the best way that I put it was essentially is when you're creating video content or creating social media, you want someone to watch that video and then expect you to be a certain way. When they meet you, you deliver in that way exactly. We were saying almost like, you know how people in this business, they have photos where they're like 20 years younger than they should be, and then you meet them in person, you're like, wait a second, are you who I'm supposed to be meeting with? Like, I don't know. So make sure that at the end of the day, just don't overthink it, just be yourself. I know it's easier said than done, or, you know, like very cliche. But just think about, who do you want to be? How are you going to do business? What is your personality type? Joseph and Kate, for those videos, for example, in the beginning, they were very true to themselves and who they are as people and really delivered that message. And if you met Joseph in person, you would expect him to be that way from how you watched that video. So just be yourself. And I was saying though, like, you know, we can all get uncomfortable, and especially with filming, but as soon as you practice a little bit more and more and more, you'll get more comfortable with being yourself. Obviously at first, I know when you're like filming a video, you're like, okay, like the video is there, you're like, I don't know how to stand, and I feel really uncomfortable, like what am I supposed to say? You look like a little penguin, you're just like hobbling around, and you're like, this is weird, this is really weird. That being said, when you do it over and over again, maybe you practice in front of the mirror, you will get more comfortable with the concept. You want to talk to the camera as if you're talking to a client or talking to them as a friend and trying to create that energy across the screen. Obviously, I know it's easier said than done. Most people are not used to speaking to a piece of technology. So just practice and you'll get more comfortable with it. Do you have any other questions from what we've talked about so far? Yes?
I feel like, so if you're dealing with clients, this will change moving forward, obviously, but at this point, if you're dealing with clients that are, I don't wanna say, let's not say 50, let's say 60 plus. I could be wrong, unless they're relying on what their kids say. I feel like a lot of them aren't engaging with any of this. Am I wrong?
I agree with you. I do agree with you. Obviously, if someone's 60 or 70 years old, they're not on Instagram watching Instagram reels of girls dancing and, you know, talking about whatsoever. That is very true. So usually this class, we cut this class in half today. But if you were to take the Chris Leader class, we would talk in the second half of the class about marketing and branding and more print materials. And in that class, in that sense, if you're working with an older demographic, obviously that social media is not going to be their number one source. And so you have to think about in your business, okay, if they're more old school, how am I going to communicate with them? Newspapers, magazines, TV, maybe the radio, you know, something that's more geared and catered to them. That being said, you want to make sure that even if you have a target demographic, you're still trying to, you don't want to work with just 10% of the population. You want to work with as many people as you can. And so you can have multiple messages, multiple forms of communication, multiple ways to brand and market yourself. But if that's your primary source, then yes, lean more into what they like to use. I do know older people do like Facebook, right? Yeah, so maybe lean into Facebook.
What do you consider older as 23?
I'm going to refrain from answering that question. I don't want to offend anyone. This comes up in every single class. Older is anything but 23, I'll say that. People like say, I'm older and wiser. I want to be called older and wiser. But yes, so lean into who your demographic is and then really, really work with that in terms of branding and marketing. Yes. Any other questions? We're good. Everyone feels great about having coffee? Pastries? Yes? Are we going to be more energetic now? Yes? You're going to actually talk to me? Smile at me?
Sorry, one question regarding Instagram.
Yes.
So for you, it's better to post, to make more posting than stories, you know?
Got
What
it.
is better?
So should I post reels or stories, and what should I do?
Exactly.
Yes, so we're actually talking about Instagram in a little bit, but what I will say is that, so stories, they last for 24 hours. And so typically stories are a little more relaxed, you can have a little more fun. They're like, hey, I'm at a coffee shop today, or meeting with a client, look at this cool house that I'm looking at. More so that's not something that you want to permanently remain on your platform. But then if say you post like a really great video about interest rates or the home buying process, for example, obviously that's something that you want to stay on your profile for people to see for as long as they possibly can for the rest of time. So then you would want to put that onto your post. We'll talk more about Reels later, but I would say Reels is probably the go-to form that you should lean on in with your business because Reels have the highest chance of getting picked up by the algorithm with going viral. Yes?
Does that have to do with the music you choose and all that?
So music does help. If you use trending music on your Instagram Reels, it does definitely help you. The problem is that though, if you use trending music, sometimes the music gets taken down, and then you're going to have audio-less Reels, which never look great. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
One more question.
One more question. Yes.
I feel like a lot of people that I interact with on all of these platforms are other realtors.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like a lot of.
Okay.
But I mean, to expand beyond that, are you hoping that they're friends and they're hoping you're friends? Is that the whole goal?
So the goal of social media more so is obviously you want to focus on clients and friends and family, people in your own sphere, prospects. So if you met someone at open house and you follow them on social media, that they can continue to see your stuff. But I will say, you don't want to be anti-agent, obviously, because agent-to-agent relationships are so important. Sometimes we don't think about it. A lot of my followers on Instagram are a lot of realtors, but a lot of them are realtors from different parts of the country, and that opens up a referral business for you as well. Even if you have an agent here in town, maybe they get a client and they can't take them on, and they want to give it to you. I know that happens all the time, at least in LA. So try and grow your own sphere, but agents are also really great as well.
And should you have both your Facebook, your business page, and should you be interacting on both? Because maybe there are things that, I mean, like I say too, it shouldn't be all about business. right?
Yes.
So, I mean, what if you're someone who, you know, can not make fun of themselves, but you know, maybe sometimes you're joking.
Personalize it a little
Is
bit.
that bad? Because
No.
some might say, oh, that's not very professional.
No.
You know, okay.
Be yourself. I think people overthink it. Obviously, don't post something that you wouldn't want the client to see. But what I like to say a good rule is like the 80-20 rule. So on your business page, 80% business, 20% personal life. When it comes to posting about your personal life, just make sure it's obviously relatively professional. Like at 23, if I went out on a Friday night, I'm not going to be telling all my clients that I'm out on a Friday night at midnight drinking. So you want to make sure that you're being mindful that you're posting for the personal side. For example, that there is an agent in LA, Beth Stein. She's very, very successful, and she does a lot of luxury listings, but she also loves to bake bread. So she bakes sourdough every single week, and she'll always post this on her real estate page. So she's been kind of deemed as like the real estate baker, essentially. So yes, definitely personalize it, make it more relatable. You know, people want to know that they're working with someone who's not just doing real estate 24/7, who's actually a real person.
Could you just focus though on your business, your Facebook's business page, and do the 80-20 rather than try and maintain both?
I think it's up to you. I think most of us probably like to have our personal pages because we have friends and family that want to stay up to date with us that's not business related. So typically I will have a personal page, stay on Facebook, I have a personal page and I have a business page. And it's important to have a business page because if you look up any credible business, they do have a business Facebook page. And then do the 80-20 on your business page. And then you can just do all personal on your personal page. If something happens in your career that you're really proud of and you posted it about it on your business page, say you won an award this year, you can share that obviously to your personal page. So I don't think there's like a specific set of rules you have to follow, but overall try and keep them separated, but it's okay to incorporate from time to time. Be a question back here.
Let me know if you agree. I find on Facebook, I'm open, you know, it's a friend collector, get as many as I can. I'm much more picky on Instagram where I follow less than I'm being followed. And I try to.
You don't like the numbers being uneven?
Correct. I don't care as much like on Facebook. I found that was more of a thing with the youngsters on Instagram.
It used to be a thing, like, I can't be following more people than people are following me. At this point, I don't care. I think people are overthinking it, to be honest. And I will say, too, that's a great point. I will say to that as people, as humans, we like the feeling of validation. And sometimes we get too caught up in how many likes did I get, how many shares did I get, how many comments did I get, how many people interacted with this post. And I'm like, oh my God, I only got 10 likes. I suck. No one likes me. This doesn't feel good. We need to remove that mindset from our head because it's not about how many people like our posts, but more so creating a track record of valuable information that when we meet someone in person from prospecting, that looks good for us in that sense. All right. We'll continue on. So which platform should you join? Actually, I'm going to say one more thing about that comment that I just made. So LinkedIn, for example, I've been posting on and off on LinkedIn for 3 or 4 years now. And typically when I post something on there, I usually only get about 5 or 6 likes. Nothing crazy. It is what it is. I don't really think twice about it. I go to the gym in LA every single morning at 6 a.m. And if you go to the gym consistently every day, you would know that you see the same people over and over and over every single day because we're all in the same routine. And earlier this year, a few months ago, in 1 month, I had 2 guys come up to me in the gym when I was working and I go, hey, is your name Chloe? And I look at them like they're crazy because it's like it's 6 a.m. I'm in my workout clothes. I don't know who you are and how you know my name. They go, wait, are you a realtor? You're in real estate, right? I was like, yes. And they're like, I see you on LinkedIn all the time. All the time. I have no idea who these people are. I've never seen them like or comment on a single post of mine, but they recognize me to the point that they could recognize me at 6 a.m. So it just shows you that we need to focus less on engagement and more so about just creating content. People do see it even if they're not interacting with it. I would take a picture of this because I know it's not in your workbook, but a big concern that people ask is, okay, so what social media platform am I supposed to use? There are so many social media apps nowadays, and I feel like every other day there's something new coming out. We heard of Be Real. Anyone hear about Be Real recently? It's like a weird app. Thank you. You don't know what it is? You do know what it is? Do you have it? So, if you don't know what Be Real is, and please don't use Be Real for your business, but I was just saying, like, new things are coming out all the time. It's this, like, new social media app. It's like, oh, social media is so fake, it's so inauthentic, and so now you have 2 minutes to post a picture of your face in the back camera, and to be authentic and show people what your real life is. But besides the point, I would say that these are probably your 6 most popular. But again, you don't need to be using all 6 of these. In fact, I personally only use 4 of them. But this goes back to figure out who your clientele is and who your demographic is and which apps are they using the most. So personally for me, I don't use Twitter or TikTok. In fact, personally, I hate TikTok for my own business. And the reason for that is I made the conscious decision when I came into the industry at 21 was my biggest insecurity when I started was my age. Because if people knew or perceived me as 21, who's going to trust me with a $1.5 million sale? And so my ultimate goal coming into the business was creating this perception that I was older, wiser, had more experience, and I wanted to target an older demographic, a more mature demographic, people maybe in their 30s or their 40s. That was kind of where I wanted to go. So I made the conscious decision that TikTok was not going to be my route because I felt like it's a younger demographic, and that if I went on TikTok, I'm probably going to be connecting with 20 and 30-year-olds, which wasn't my business plan or my goal. That being said, I have seen people on TikTok be very successful with it. I've seen people on TikTok who are in their 50s actually in real estate creating all this amazing social media content, and it works for them and they get business from it. So again, think about where are your people and then follow them. So you are your brand. You want to think listings, lifestyle, and local. I like to call them the 3 L's. Again, we don't want to just post just listed, just sold. We need to keep the content diverse to make sure that we're engaging with our audience. They're not getting bored with us because if we do the same thing over and over and over again and we're not creating any sort of value for them, people are going to be wanting to opt out of our stuff. You want to keep your personal accounts private and be thoughtful about it. So as I was saying, you know, some people, they just want a business profile, they're not on social media a lot, and that's okay. But if you have a personal life that you maybe don't want the whole world to know, you can keep that private and so that people from the outside can't see it unless they request into the profile. So for example, at 23, the world doesn't need to know that I'm doing, so I have a private Instagram account. But it doesn't have to be because you're young and 23. You know, I've met people that...
I still do that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I've met people that have kids, for example. They don't want the whole world to know where their kids go to school and what they do after school at soccer practice because it's a safety issue for them. So if that's how you feel, whatever it may be, if you want to keep them separated, that's totally okay. And again, when you are on your business page, do the 80-20 rule. Try to keep a balance between professional but also personal. You want to include your team and service partners. That goes back to what Kate's message was that she had this whole team of vendors, of people that she worked with. And that's a value that we bring to the table. So you want to showcase that you have this team. This is also opening up a lot of doors to collaborate. Say you have your go-to inspector. Maybe film a video with your inspector talking about what they do at a general physical inspection. So your clients can be educated on it. Collaborate with your appraiser, your lender. Your lender can do a lot of great content with you because people want to understand their mortgage payment, people want to understand their PITI, all of these things. And so think about who you can team up with and showcase that you have connections and you also have expertise. You want to choose a username that's available on all platforms and then making sure that, of course, it is consistent across all 3 of them. You don't want to have 3 different social media handles and people won't be able to put those 3 together. You want to build out your profile to help people find you. I think more and more so today, our bios on our social media platforms are becoming a way to get discovered. It's like the search engine. I think Instagram and YouTube have become search engines essentially. So if you notice, if you go on my Instagram profile, my bio has my name, that I'm a realtor, the company that I work with, what I do, buy, sell, and invest. All of these keywords that get picked up. So if someone looks up Los Angeles Realtor, that my name is popping up to the top. You want to use a professional profile photo. As I was saying earlier, obviously, I don't know what it is. I don't know about you guys here, but back in LA, in my office specifically, there's a good chunk of photos that are like black and white, they're grainy, they're from 30 years ago. My lender, he looks a good 20 years younger in his profile photo than he does in real life. And obviously, we want to make sure that we are delivering a sense of trust with everything that we do. And if you don't look like your profile photo and you show up your listing appointment the next day, even if they are able to put 2 and 2 together, subconsciously, the psychology behind it, there's going to be some sort of disconnect, and we don't want that. So you want to make sure that you're constantly portraying who you are as an agent and as a person all the time. I will say, so on the left is more of a lifestyle photo. These are great, don't get me wrong, I love them, I post them on Instagram all the time, but for your main profile headshot, make sure it's up close and personal. You don't want any fluff going on around you. You want to invite everyone you know to connect with you, so all social media platforms allow you to sync up your contacts. Please do that. Obviously, you want your sphere to be engaging with you. The great thing is, too, these algorithms always seem to know who we're talking to. You ever notice, like, you meet someone at an event and 3 days later they pop up on Facebook? Has that ever happened to you? Isn't it a little scary? So make sure that you're constantly engaging with people in your sphere. Again, this is a great way for us to stay top of mind without being in someone's face saying, hey, do you want to buy or sell real estate? You want to add relevant icons on all of your marketing. So on your business card, for example, make sure you have of course, your website and all of your social media. So when you do meet someone door knocking or at an open house or at a networking event and you give them your card and they go home and they look you up, they can see that you have all of this amazing stuff that brands you as a successful agent. You want to use keywords to make your post searchable. And I think this really goes back into hashtags. Hashtags are really great, especially on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. This is a way for you to be discovered and to pop yourself basically into a specific category. Now, a question that I get is, okay, well, what hashtags am I supposed to be using? So there's no right or wrong answer. You just want to make sure that the hashtag is relevant to the information that you're posting. So if I made a video about, for first-time home buyers, about what kind of inspections you do when you buy a house. Obviously, I'm not going to do hashtag pumpkin spice latte because it's trending and it's fall season. You need to be doing like hashtag first-time home buyer, hashtag real estate advice, hashtag first-time home buyer tips, hashtag real estate, hashtag Milton. Making sure it's relevant to what you're doing. Also, the great thing is that Instagram, for example, if you start typing in part of a hashtag, it will auto-generate suggestions of what people are also using. There are also now apps that you can download on the App Store that will basically create suggestions for different hashtags to use as well based off of a specific category or word that you put into the app. So there's a lot of ways to do this. Another question that I get is how many hashtags should I use? Don't do too many and don't do too little. I wouldn't say like 20 is too many, 3 is too little. Try and find a good medium, maybe 5, 6, or 7 of them. That's usually what I personally do. Yes?
Is it better to have the hashtags in the same copy or in another script?
In the comment box, yeah. So typically I put it in the description box. And I also personally hate having it right under my text. So actually, if you can see up here, you'll notice that they have dots. So I'll type out my description and then I'll go to the next line, I'll do a period mark, go to the next line, period, and then I'll put in my hashtags. Yes. Any other questions? Okay. So you want to stay positive, always look for the silver lining. I'm a firm believer that positivity attracts positivity. And this is also going to be very important moving forward because we are in a very controversial time, I would say, in the real estate market. Everyone seems to have an opinion about real estate. And usually they're all very wrong. I know the media is probably not helping you out here, am I correct? Yeah, the media is like out to get us, essentially. In the US, I'm dealing with a big problem right now with every person in the world who's not in real estate believing that this is going to be the 2008 housing crisis and recession for us again, when we know very much so that it's not, based off of the statistics of then versus now. So we're going to be dealing with a lot of controversy. You're going to be dealing with controversy with people saying that you shouldn't buy because rates are going up, all of these things. So we as professionals need to not ignore it, but more so approach it, but in a positive sense. Don't avoid the controversy. If someone has a very negative opinion about what's happening in the real estate market, correct them in a positive but respectful way. And again, everything that we do, we just need to leave from a place of positivity. You want to write like you talk, keep it casual, don't use jargon. Social media is meant to be social, so don't talk like you're writing an academic paper. You want to make sure that you're coming across personable and someone that you can chat with. Again, when you're filming in front of your camera, as I said, pretend like you're talking to your friend, pretend like you're talking to your clients. Some topics that I always avoid are profanity, politics, and religion. I think these can be such controversial topics. And the last thing we want to be doing is butting heads with someone over something that happened in politics and then completely destroy your business relationship. So leave it all at home. We want to approach the world in our business with wanting to connect with everyone and not cut it in half. Download apps on your phone. This will make everything more user-friendly for you. You can, of course, access all the apps on a desktop as well, but mostly the apps are designed to be more user-friendly for you. And you can also do, like for Instagram, for example, when we talk about later, you can edit and post everything directly through the app. You don't need to outsource to other third-party companies. You don't want to schedule your posts in advance. I know this is very popular, but 2 reasons. Number 1, this is going to decrease your SEO, because think about it, Facebook and Instagram, they don't want a third-party company competing against them. So they're going to basically boot your post out and decrease the exposure because you're using a third-party platform like Hootsuite, for example. Now, I do know that Facebook has a pre-scheduler embedded into it. That's totally okay because that's specific to their own platform. But overall, you want to make sure that you are posting them directly on yourselves. I think also, this helps you stay authentic and stay relevant. Because let's say that 3 days ago you had a post scheduled to go live today about interest rates, and interest rates are changing every single day. And when that post came out today, it's not going to be relevant because it's relevant to 3 days ago. So it's not really that time consuming, just post them yourselves. I would say if you're struggling with finding time to make a social media post, make it a time block in your calendar and then stay consistent that way. But really, it's so quick, you can link your Facebook business and Instagram page together. If you're posting on anything else, I literally just copy and paste the description box, pop it into the next platform, use a photo from my saved camera roll. You can repurpose your content. Please don't think that you have to do 4 different posts on 4 different social media platforms. I post the same thing on all the platforms that I use, because you have to remember that most people are following different people on different platforms, so you're going to have a different target market in each one of those social media apps. So post each platform separately. As I was just saying, Facebook and Instagram, you can link the business pages together, not 2 birds out with 1 stone. And monitor your engagement to see what's working. Obviously, you need to know what's working, what's not, what's hot, what's not, and you need to lean into what's being successful. Both Instagram and Facebook have their business analytics page, so you can go to the business analytics page and see what the response is. A popular question that I get is, okay, well, what's the best time to post and what day to post? That answer is going to be very different to each single person in this room because we all have different types of people following us. So if you want to figure that out based off of your past history, go onto your analytics page. It will break down that information for you. You want to monitor your competitors and see what they're up to. As I was saying earlier, don't get insecure by your competition. I think it's also great because, if you see our competitors are being successful, it's going to put a fire under our own tush and inspire us to, go out and get more business. But also, it's a great way to stay inspired with other great social media content you can do as well.
Can I ask one quick question?
Yes.
So if you post something that's, say, not time sensitive or not topical, would you ever recycle that, say, 6 months from now or a year from now and use the same post again?
Yeah. Now, would I personally repost the exact same video? Probably not. But say I did a video 6 months ago about, let's see, what is the cost associated with buying a home? It's a great concept and a great topic. I would just remake the video and say the exact same thing that I said in that video, just to make sure it's a little diverse and you're not repeating things, but the concept of things can be repeated over time. Yes. All right, so let's talk about Facebook. You want to change your cover image for every season and occasion. Now, if you don't want to change your cover image, but because it just annoys you, you can just post something and then pin it to the very top. The whole point of this is just to showcase that you are active, that you are accessible. This is very fitting for Halloween today. So the whole point is if a buyer or seller went onto your Facebook page and they saw that you had posted something about Halloween, they know that you're still active on social media. If they need something about real estate, that they know that they can call you. I have a story. There's a guy in my office back in LA, and he is a top producer. He's going to be top 10 year to date this year in the company. And he hasn't posted on Facebook in 6 years. I was talking to him about this. And recently he got tagged into a post about being in the top 10 of year to date. And he's like, oh, I guess I'll just share it to my page. I haven't done this in 6 years. And a guy he knew in San Francisco was like, I didn't know you were still in real estate. I have a $2 million client that needs to relocate to LA. Here you go. And now he has a $2 million referral, all because he posted on social media that reminded people that he was still in the business. So you don't want time to slip you by. You want to make sure that you're active so people know that you're still relevant and that they can reach out to you if needed. If someone likes your post, invite them to like your page. Obviously, if they like you enough to engage with your stuff, they probably want to keep seeing your content. And you want to like other business pages. Again, this goes back to being the go-to source for community information. So if you're following all the local restaurants and local businesses and you're up to date with all the things that are happening in the community, you can reshare this information to your clientele. You want to ask clients for reviews on your Facebook page. Now, there are a lot of places to get reviews now, Zillow, your Google business profile, Facebook. Pick the ones that you like. If you like one particular over the others, lean into that. I don't think there's a right or wrong place to do them. As long as you're getting reviews, it's all that matters. But if you do have more than one platform that you want your reviews to be on from the same client, when you're asking for a testimonial, when you're closing a transaction, try and link everything together in one email so it's easier for the client. Obviously, you don't want to annoy them and ask them over 3 different emails to do it. So just ask them to copy and paste that same review and then pop them into those multiple links. It'll just make their life easier for them. You want to strategically boost your posts so more followers see them. Statistically, only about 2 to 3% of people will engage with their posts. So if you have 100 viewers, only 2 or 3 people are going to see and actually engage with it. So if you want to boost your exposure, you can boost the post, which is basically social media advertising. The great thing about this, I will say, is that you can set your budget. So if you don't want to spend more than $100 a month on social media advertising, you can cap it at $100 and Facebook will do their thing. I will say, please be very, very careful when you're boosting your posts and make sure that you're following the guidelines and checking that it's a special category, because there are a lot of fair housing laws and all of this other legal stuff that Facebook tries to respect, and you don't want to try and get around that and then get kicked out of your business profile. That happened to me a couple times when I was brand new in the business, because I was still figuring things out. Completely unintentional, but I wasn't checking the right boxes. So please make sure you're doing that. If you don't know which boxes to check, Google it. Google has the answer for everything, I always like to say, because it does, just to be safe and be sure, because you don't want to get booted out of your page. Use the events page use the events part of your page. So, obviously we only create our relationships and increase that relationship when we get to meet with them in person. So if you do have an open house coming up, or let's say you're doing a client appreciation event, or you're doing a seminar for first-time home buyers, whatever it may be, you want to make sure that you're promoting it, and people, if they go on their page, will see that it's a chance to come and meet you in person. You want to manage your notifications so you aren't overwhelmed. You can control and customize your notifications to yourself. So if you don't want to be getting all the notifications overwhelming for you, you can check which ones you do want. And so just cater that more specifically to yourself. Now, Facebook don't think you can set it and forget it. Again, we want to be relevant. We want to be, on top of it. And so don't post something and then let 5 months go by, or as the guy in my office, 6 years go by. You want to make sure that you're actively posting to remind people to stay top of mind and let people know that you are still in the real estate industry. Don't only post listings. Variety keeps them engaged. So again, don't do just listed or just sold. Oops, whoops, sorry. Don't ignore your stats. You want to know what's hot and what's not. So again, both Instagram and Facebook will have their business analytics page. So look at your insights so you can see what's doing well and what time to post. And there's a lot of great analytics and numbers in there. So definitely, if you're not looking at it already, look at it. It's really, really insightful. I'm still getting used to this clicker, guys. Sorry. Don't ignore controversy, stay positive and try to fix it. So as I was saying, the market is very weird right now. Very, very weird. And there's a lot of negative opinions out there. So we need to make sure that we're continuing to address it in a positive sense. As you're saying with your negative review, if someone posts a negative review or a negative comment, address it. This is a great way to showcase that you are a professional and that you approach things well. Don't take it personally. It's the internet. People like to say things sometimes. Trust me, I have gotten some awful comments and awful messages before. People just, they don't care. So if they don't care, you don't care. Just mind your business, but again, always stay positive. Don't block people. You want to hide their negative comments. I will say though, I'm sure we've all experienced at some point in our life some crazy person on Facebook or Instagram. At that point, it's totally okay to block them. There are sometimes exceptions need to be made. I will say that in the moment, you just need to analyze the situation, what's being said, and what's being done, and then make that conscious decision. Hiding comments though is great because that person thinks that they're still engaging with you. They're not. But again, if there is a negative comment, respond to it once and then leave it be. You do not want a war zone on your social media page. You don't want to be that person. Gosh, what's that app about the neighborhood app? What is it called?
Neighborhood Watch.
Neighborhood Watch, there's another one. Nextdoor. Do you guys use Nextdoor out here? Do you ever see neighbors going at it on Nextdoor? They have there's a war zone in the comment section. You said this and you said that, no, but you said this and you said that, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That does not look good for anybody. So we want to avoid that in our business. Say something nice once, leave it be, and then hide everything else afterwards. Don't have unrealistic expectations. It takes time. As I said, it took me a year and a half of doing social media content before I landed my first client directly from social media. So it takes time. Please, again, remind yourselves that social media, I don't want you to walk away from here today thinking that you can just do social media, no other sort of prospecting. You need to be doing the prospecting. The social media is what's going to back you in your prospecting when they're looking you up. Don't ignore messages and comments, speed to lead. I think we're all very well aware that most clients will call multiple agents and usually end up working with the one that answers first. That's just how things go. So you want to make sure that you're having a timely response. That being said, I know we're human. Sometimes we can't get to a message immediately. Facebook in the settings does allow you to set up an immediate response, which is really great. It's like an auto reply, but you can customize it specifically to yourself. So at least it sounds a little more personalized and less robotic, but that's a great way to buy yourself a little more time if you do need it. And then this is both my Facebook page and then Chris and Tina's Facebook page for Leaders Edge if you want to follow both of us. All right, let's talk about Instagram. So Instagram images everything. It's all about photos and videos, but I will say today it's becoming more and more about video. If you've noticed that Instagram, if you go on there now, they're trying to be the new TikTok. You never see your friends and family anymore. All you see is a video of someone you've never seen before playing on your page. So that's all Reels. And we want to lean into that with our business because this is what's going to get picked up by the algorithm, most likely, and give you the chance to be exposed to a new buyer or seller that may have never known that you existed. So Instagram is perfect for conveying your lifestyle. Again, going back to being a community expert. Now Instagram has something called Instagram Guides, and this is too loud in the back. No, we're good. Okay, sorry. My voice is starting to get a little tired. So Instagram Guides, this is a new thing now where if you go to on your page and you click the plus sign as if you're posting a new post, you can click a guide. And a guide is essentially a guidebook on your main page. It remains there permanently unless you take it down. And you can add in all your favorite local businesses and restaurants. So for example, on the left-hand side, I made a favorite restaurants in Los Angeles. I put in 24 different restaurants. I didn't film the whole thing, but hopefully you get the concept of this. And so this is on my page. If you want to see it on my actual Instagram, my Instagram is dreamliving.la, and then you'll see a tourist guidebook in the bar section, and then you can look at this more directly. But I recommend that you do this for all of your favorite local businesses. And I guess if you ever come to LA now, you know where my 24 top favorite restaurants are. I'm a big foodie. And so definitely lean into this. Is again, it's going to play the message that you are a community expert. You want to switch it up between single photos, carousels, and video, but again, emphasize that you want about 90% of the stuff to be doing, that you're doing to be video, because video now is making the most impact than any other form of marketing. You want to add text before posting your photos. So if you do have an open house coming up, for example, you want to make sure that people can see that on the post. A great place to do this is Canva. Raise your hands, do you know what Canva is? Amazing. All right, if you don't know what Canva is, that's okay. I like to call it Photoshop for Dummies because it's the most user-friendly platform that you will ever experience. I do not want to hear, I'm old and I don't know how to use technology. It's the easiest thing ever. It's a drag and drop situation. They have a million, I know you can think, a million templates for everything you could possibly think of in this entire world. In fact, everything that I've ever designed for my own business has come from Canva. My business cards, my home buyer's guide, my seller's guide, my postcards, my listing presentation, my email signature, everything I've done on Canva. So you can do that for everything if you need to edit a post or add in text. They also have pre-templated reels as well if you want to automate your videos. So you want to post short videos on a variety of topics. Now this is called Instagram Reels. Now Reels has gone through a transition over the last year or two, again because they're trying to become TikTok. So now, do you remember that IGTV used to be a thing on Instagram back in the day? Yeah, so IGTV was Instagram trying to be YouTube. IGTV doesn't exist anymore. Everything is now Reels. So you can do 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, and then anything longer than that you can still upload. But I will say, with the algorithm, you want to stay under 60 seconds. Shorter, sweeter, the better it will do with the algorithm. Now, if you need to do a 90-second video, that's okay. For example, in the next slide, I'll play an example from my own page. You'll see I couldn't fit all of this information into 60 seconds, but we will go ahead and watch that.
All right, guys, we need to clear the air because despite what you're seeing in the media, number one, we are not in a housing crisis. Number two, we're not in a bubble that's about to pop. And number three, this is nothing like the 2008 recession. 2008 housing crisis was based on fraudulent and criminal lending activity that essentially fueled this housing bubble. And anyone and their grandmother was basically being given a loan. People that had credit scores under 600, people that were unemployed, people that could not afford to pay their mortgage, and they were also being sold adjustable rate mortgages and not being educated on it. And so basically there was trillions of dollars in these financial institutions of subprime loans, which are essentially worthless loans that have absolutely no value. And they were getting packaged together into CDOs and being sold as loans with AAA ratings. And it was basically this huge bubble of people who could not afford the loans. And they were not aware that after 5 years of their arms being up in contract, that their mortgages could increase by 100, 200, 300%. A ton of people to lose their homes, abandon them, foreclose, and then there was absolutely no buyer demand, which caused this bubble to essentially pop and blow up. Today's market, we are stabilizing, we're normalizing with extremely strict lending standards and a healthy amount of supply and demand. So please guys, stay educated and don't let the media fool you.
All right, so I hope you can see why I couldn't fit all of that into 60 seconds. Yes?
How do you add the
Captions?
the
Text, the captions?
Yeah.
Yes, great question. So unfortunately, you'll notice that for some reason, Instagram likes to stop captions at 60 seconds. So because this is a 90-second video, it stopped them halfway through. But it's very easy to do. So when you're uploading your video, you're editing it, when you click next, the page before you're going to post it, there will be a button at the top. It kind of looks like a square with a face. If you click on that, and captions will be the very first thing in blue, it will auto-generate those captions for you. It literally takes 10 seconds. And if a word is off, so for example, do you guys use the MLS out here?
Yes.
Okay, so for example, in the past I'll say MLS too quickly and they're like, MOS, what did you say? So if that was the case, you could click on it and then edit it, or edit that one word if needed.
Sorry,
Yes.
on Instagram?
Yes, on Instagram.
Okay, I'm not sure.
So, let's see here. This is a story, that's why. So it needs to be a reel. Yes. So it needs to be an Instagram reel. When you're editing a reel, there will be a button, yes.
So to do a reel, you have to actually tape it as a reel?
So great question. Great question. So you can either tape the video on the Reels app, or you can pre-record on your camera roll and upload those videos later.
So how come it's not working? Is that video on mine?
Can you caption stories? All right, I was mistaken. You can caption stories. There you go. Thank you so much.
Even an old man.
So old, no. So yes, there will be, yes.
Sorry.
After class, if people need help with it, we can do it more one-on-one because I don't want to drag the class on too long, but there will be a point in the video where you can edit it. You can also show people at your table as well if they're curious. Yes, question?
So when you're recording the video, like, do you have like a script that you're trying to
Great question. Yes. Yes, so do I have a script? Because obviously that was a lot of information. And it's funny because I made this video because the objection that we're having, this housing crisis from 2008, is a big topic in the US. I was 9 years old when this recession happened, and so I didn't know what happened, so I watched The Big Short. Have you guys ever seen that movie? I watched The Big Short the night before, took notes, and then made a reel on it the next day. In terms of a script, I don't have a script. What I do is I'll pre-write out what I want to talk about and the bullet points I'm going to hit. And then I usually, honestly, will do multiple takes on a video because I'm human and I mess up and I say words funnier and the message doesn't come out right. And also you might notice I did it in 3 clips. So like I couldn't do it anymore. So then I paused, I stopped the clip and then refreshed my memory what I had to say next and then did the next clip. There are apps though that you can download to have the script running. Also, you could just be old school and put bullet points on a piece of paper and duct tape it behind your phone. I will just say that if you do this route, be careful that you're not standing in front of the camera and going, all right, so blah, 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 blah. Like you're like so focused on trying to read. So if that's the case, just make sure that you're like seeing the bullet point, but then you're interacting and being energetic. You don't want to be like a robot, like reading off of a piece of paper. Yes. I will say with also this video, I didn't have my tripod with me, so I was at an open house, and the open house was the slowest open house I had all year. It was killing me. I had like 1 person coming in every hour, hour and a half. I only met like 3 people that day. And so I was really bored. It's like, might as well make the use of my time and actually do something. And so I balanced my phone on a vase on a console table in front of a really bright window, got on my knees, and then filmed this video. So we will talk about video equipment in a little bit of things that I recommend you guys purchasing, but sometimes you just have to make do with what you have. So the next video is going to be 60 seconds, and this was a topic that I actually got inspired by from another realtor who had talked about a similar thing.
This video is for all of you that can't afford a home, but are choosing to continue to rent instead because of the rising interest rates. Let me tell you something. Renting is essentially choosing 100% interest rate. Yes, rates are rising, but in the grand scheme of things, in our history, they're still incredibly low. And you're building your landlord's wealth. You are building someone else's portfolio versus your own. Focus on what you can control. You can always go back and refinance, change the interest rate that you lock in, but you can never go back and change your purchase price. And the reality is, even though the market is shifting and slowing down a little bit, prices are still projected to increase. They're continuing to go up about 5% this year alone. So go ahead and build your own wealth and not someone else's.
So I think the captions are really great because people are usually visual learners, and it helps them stay engaged with the video, what you're saying, they can read it. So I always highly recommend that you do that. But again, that was a video that I had watched another agent talk about. I was like, that is a fantastic point. I want to talk about that. And then I made it my own and I filmed it. And all these videos are very easy to do. I literally pop the camera. 90% of my videos are actually filmed in my car. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see I'm usually just in my car. It's like, I call it car chats with Chloe, and I just sit in my car and I talk about something. Mostly because it's just good lighting and I don't have to do anything else, and I just pop my phone on the dashboard, and it's very easy. Filming it takes a few minutes, editing it takes a few minutes. So overall, it's a very quick process. The last video example, I had a little more fun with it, and it's a little more creative and artistic, but I wanted to showcase that as good agents, we do more for an open house than what our sellers think. I think our sellers think that we just throw a sign outside and sit pretty for 3 hours and that's about it. But as a good agent, we know there's a lot of prep time that goes into it, getting all the signs out, getting all the lights on, maybe lighting a candle, getting all the windows open. So I wanted to showcase that as a good agent, there's more than just sitting pretty and putting one sign outside. So it's a fun little concept that you could do. Music, question earlier was, can trending music help? It can. Just be careful with it. I would say I only use music from time to time, because sometimes music can get taken down. So most of my videos are just mostly me talking. A good trick that you could do is play music in the background and make it really quiet, so it's just there out for the algorithm, but you're mostly just talking. If you have a business account on Instagram, you might have noticed that sometimes you can't access the trending music. If that is the case, you need to mark yourself as an entrepreneur in the business category, not in real estate. Because if you mark yourself as anything else, the Instagram will deem you as a competitor, and they won't provide you any access to this music and give you a copyright claim. So if you mark yourself as an entrepreneur, that is a little loophole around it, and then you can hide it or just turn it back afterwards, up to you. So invite everyone you know to follow you. Of course, we want people to stay engaged with our content. And so this is something, so since we made this course, things have changed a little bit. For the longest time, Instagram only allowed you to have one single URL. And as agents, we know we have multiple URLs and multiple websites. Since then, they have now allowed you to include multiple website links. That being said, my recommendation does still stay true to this. So this is called Linktree. It's completely free, and basically it provides you one URL link, and then you can link as many website links as you want into that one URL. So I have this on Instagram. If I meet a prospective client, for example, on the open house, maybe I'll text them a link so they can access all of my resources. But you'll see that this is my page. You can customize the color choices of everything. And then I like it because if I have a new YouTube video that comes out, I can actually pop down a thumbnail, and then people can watch it directly on the Linktree page when they click on it on the app. But here I have my YouTube videos, my home buyer's guide, my seller's guide. I set up a Calendly link. Do you guys know what Calendly is? Okay, if you don't know what it is, it's basically a free platform to have people schedule consultation calls with you around your own calendar. So I have that if someone wants to connect with me about talking about buying or selling. And then I have my mortgage pre-approval guide and then all of my social media links linked down below. So completely free, like any business, of course, they have a free version and a pro version. You really don't need to pay for the pro version if you want to. I think that's cool, good for you, but you really don't need to. So Twitter. Twitter is common among millennials. I will say most of us probably aren't on Twitter for business. I would say it's the most common form of social media for business. That being said, it is great to stay on top of local conversations. Again, Twitter's not great for prospecting, but again, none of the social media is. We still need to be doing the hard stuff and the uncomfortable stuff as well. Twitter is great for staying up with trending news. So typically this is a great place to stay up with trending news, trending hashtags. The algorithm typically knows like where you are and who you interact with, so it'll cater that information specifically to you in your own life. You want to use hashtags to jump onto trending conversations. And you want to curate lists for your clients to use, so best restaurants, best local businesses, community events. Again, going back to you want to be a community expert and not just a person that's listing and selling houses. You want to follow local officials, so the fire department, police department, schools, news stations, And this is a great way to stay reminded of things too. So back to school season was in August and September. If you don't have kids, you probably weren't aware of that, or we're mindful of it when it happens. But say you have a client that kids are going back to school. If you were following this on Twitter and you were aware of that, that was a reminder to engage with your clients and check in with them, say, hey, how's it going? How are the kids getting back into school? Everything's great. Maybe you could do a back to school giveaway, do some school supplies, a basket, something like that. It's a great way just to stay reminded of what's happening in the community so you can find creative ways to tap into that with your market. You want to check out their competition and to see what they're up to. Again, I don't know about you guys, I love stalking people. I love checking out what other people are doing. So definitely stay up to date with your competitors. Now we're going to talk about YouTube. YouTube has really changed over the last few years, last decade. I think in the past this was the go-to place to watch really funny videos. Do you guys remember America's Funniest Home Videos? I know we're in Canada, but those were pretty funny. They always were trending on YouTube. And YouTube now today is more so about how-tos. It's been pretty much the go-to how-to platform. If you want to know how to cook something, you YouTube it. There's a Michelin-starred chef showing you how to make a French omelet or something like that. An embarrassing story of my own is earlier this year, I could not figure out how to put air into my tires in my car, which is really embarrassing. And I pulled up to the gas station. I was coming from work, so I had my heels, my trousers, my bras. I'm leaning by my car. It's this has to be so self-explanatory. This has to be so easy. There's a plug, there's a thing in the tire, I just put it in. For some reason, I couldn't figure out why I was losing air and not putting air into my tires. And so I was there for a good chunk of time trying to figure this out. And so what did I do? I Googled how to put air into my tires. And I found a YouTube video that had 13 million views. So this made me feel really good about myself because 13 million other people also do know how to put air in their tires. And so I watched it and then I was able to figure it out within 2 seconds. I didn't find out after I got air into my tires that there was a security camera watching me for 20 minutes trying to figure this out. It was so incredibly embarrassing. Let's just say it's safe to say I never went back to that gas station ever again. That being said, I hope that showcases to you that this opens up so many opportunities to create content about how to buy and how to sell real estate. In this business, we pick up so much knowledge that eventually becomes pretty common knowledge to us. Oh, home buying process, you pick an agent. You go house hunting, you get pre-approved, and then you go under contract, you do inspections, appraisal, all this stuff. Super common knowledge to us. But for our clients, they are so overwhelmed they don't even know how to pick the right real estate agent. And we have the opportunity to educate. And I am a firm believer that if you give and give and give, eventually you will receive. And when you give information, people are more willing and wanting to work with you and work with you specifically to their issue. So YouTube is the second most used search engine now in the world. I think it's over 2 billion users, which is really a huge gateway to meeting people. In fact, I actually have a client here in Toronto that I met from YouTube because he was looking to sell his house and move to Los Angeles. I actually met with him this weekend since I'm in town, met him for the first time after knowing him for 2 years. Took me around, we went to Niagara Falls, all this stuff. But he's a legitimate client, had a listing here. He has 2 houses down here. He just bought one for $2.1 million. He listed one for $1.8 earlier this year, buying in Los Angeles. All of this because I was making YouTube content and he was looking for realtors in Los Angeles, and now here we are. So huge platform to lean into. You want to make videos searchable by adding keywords. And this is basically similar to using a hashtag, but it's a little different. So when you're uploading a YouTube video, there will be a section for you to add keywords, and so that video can be discovered. So here's an example of one of my YouTube videos. And my channel, you'll see on the right side, this is what TubeBuddy is. Now TubeBuddy is a widget that you can download from Google Chrome completely for free. And what it's great is it provides all of this information on the right side of any video that you watch, not just your own. But this is an example, so this is one of my videos that show you okay, so I have 220,000 views, this many likes, this is the channel overview, and then in the very bottom right corner, you're gonna see tags. Now, the reason why I bring this up is that I don't have the time or energy or creativity to figure out what tags to use every time I post a video. So what I will do is, let's say for example, I post a property tour of the Hollywood Hills, just as an example. I would go onto YouTube on a separate page, look up Hollywood Hills property tour, see what videos have done really well, the algorithm have done really successful, click on their video, see what tags that they've used, copy and paste those tags, and then pop it into my own video. So it's very easy, doesn't take a lot of brain power. This is basically a great shortcut to coming up with keywords. You want to showcase your listings to attract buyers. And of course, we are in real estate and people love watching real estate stuff. I think that's why all of these reality TV shows have done so well. Selling Sunset, Only Got a Listing. People love to watch real estate and watch property tours, so lean into that with your business. If you have a new video, new listing, film it, put it up, and I would say never take it down. Sometimes people are like, oh, I sold a house, like, should I take the video down? I say no, leave a track record for yourself, because if you go onto my YouTube channel, you will see that I have videos now dating back for over 3 years. If someone went on my channel and saw that, they're gonna go, oh, this girl's been in real estate for at least 3 years. She must know what she's doing, and she must be successful because she's doing all of this video. And so it, again, plays into the perception of how you're doing in business. You wanna hire a professional videographer. Now this slide's a little controversial, and I think this is why Chris and Tina asked me to kind of come in and reroute this course and teach it, because I know for most of us, we probably don't have thousands of dollars that we want to blow on a professional videographer. And for me, at 21, coming halfway out of college, I also didn't have thousands of dollars that I could put into professional videography. And I figured out how to do it myself, and so I hope that when you guys leave this class today, that you feel empowered to be able to do this yourself, because you really can. So this is an example of some of my recommended video equipment. This is a US link. I found it on our Toronto class on Friday. When you scan it, you have to change it to Canada, and then you should be able to access all of the stuff. But I just want to preface, first of all, please do not feel like you need to buy all 10 of these items. These are just recommendations. There's a few in the same category to help. You should also have a QR code on your sheet as well. But first, you should invest into some sort of mic. So the top left corner, I have a couple options. If you're just starting out, you don't need the fancy one, just get the $30 mic. Something just to clip into your shirt and then plug into your phone so the audio quality is really well. The middle one is a gimbal. Now a gimbal is really important. Do you guys know what a gimbal is? I know it's a funny word. Kind of, some of you do, some of you don't. So if you don't know what it is, it's basically you hold it, and then you plug in your phone. You can go your phone vertical or horizontal, and as you move, the gimbal will move with you to stabilize the video. Now, the reason for this is, I'm sure have you all seen a video of a realtor filming their new listing, and it's like super shaky, and you can't follow on what's going on, you're getting a headache just watching it? It screams DIY. And so a gimbal will stabilize the video for you, make it a very smooth shot. It won't be bumpy. That's going to showcase more of a professional approach to filming. I have the top right corner because I film all my videos in the car. If you do that, you can get one of the car holders. And then you should get some sort of lighting equipment. So the bottom three are a few options. Most common are a ring light and then a box light. So a ring light, I would say this is great if you're in a room that's a little more well lit, because a ring light is very head-on, and if you're in a darkly lit room, you're going to have shadows around you. So typically use a ring light in a room that it's still relatively sunny, and just to add more light into the video. Lighting is usually what makes a video come across as very professional and high quality. Box lights, which is on the bottom left, they're a little scary looking, but they're really just tripods with big pieces of cloth and a light bulb in them, but that will help basically create an even source of lighting across the entire room. And then lastly, you should get some sort of tripod to make your life easier. The one before the end, right here, the $26 one, I adore that thing. I carry it with me everywhere. It's always in my car. I like it because you can condense it into about this height and expand it up to 62 inches. So it's very versatile. There's basically little knobs in each section to extend. And so I carry that with me 24/7. You should approach now the idea of everything that you do in this business, you should just start filming it, because you never know when those clips are going to be useful for you in your business. You want to keep most of your videos short. Now with this slide, I would say with YouTube you can get away with slightly longer videos, 3, 4, 5 minutes. After 5 minutes you need to ask yourself why the video is so long, but you can't get away with it. 60, 90 seconds, you can do that now with YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts is essentially YouTube's wannabe version of TikTok. But I would say yes, on YouTube you can get away with a few minutes of a video. Just be very mindful of what you're showcasing. You don't want people to get bored. You want to apply branding and music to all of your videos. Music is very important. Music really dictates how a person is going to feel watching that video, and it can really change the emotions. And it's very important that your music is royalty-free. Same as if you ever use a stock photo or image or video, please make sure that you have the right to use it. You do not want to get sued. And I'm saying that personally because I have been sued. I got sued last year for $10,000 because I made the decision at 21 to pull an image off of the internet, off of Google, and put it onto my website. And then we grow up getting told to never do this, and I thought to myself, it would never happen to me, it's just an image off of Google. I got sued 2.5 years later. So please be very careful with this. You need to make sure that we have the right to music, photo, and video. You don't want to get yourselves in trouble because it's not very fun. Second of all, you want to create some sort of intro or outro to put into your videos as branding. So in the next slide, I'll play an example of my branded outro or intro that I put into all of my YouTube videos. So something very short and sweet. I know it's very LA. So obviously make one more specifically catered to this area of town. But those are all videos that I shot over time on my iPhone. I edited them in iMovie, which is completely free. I use music from Epidemic Sound. And my logo at the very end I pulled off of Canva. So you guys can really do all of this yourselves. Going back to equipment, please do not buy a fancy camera. You do not need a camera for any of this videoing. Every single video I've ever posted has been filmed on my iPhone. So you guys really can do this on your own, okay? You want to have a clear call to action. So call me or subscribe. If you do a listing video, for example, try to end it with some sort of incentive, like if you're looking to sell your home, give me a call. I'd be happy to do like a free property valuation for you. Some sort of incentive to help them connect with them. And then if you want to subscribe to my channel, you could go ahead and scan that QR code and subscribe. I think I'm at, last I checked, a little over 11,000 now, which is really exciting. That's been growth over the last 3 years. I will say, also, if you stick with YouTube, this can be a source of passive income. And I know we all love money. I make a good chunk of money every single month just from posting YouTube videos because after a certain time of building my profile, I was given eligibility to monetize my videos. Essentially, you know, you go on YouTube and you watch a video, there's a 5-second ad in the beginning. I now get to run those ads for my videos as well. So if you guys stick with it over time, you can make some passive income with YouTube. I know money, we all love money, so that's another way to get creative in building some of your income. BombBomb, raise your hands, do you know what BombBomb is? Okay, so a third of you maybe. So BombBomb is essentially an app or a widget, I guess, that you can embed into your email. So in the past, if you ever send an email with a video and you want someone to watch that video, you have to either copy and paste that hideous blue HTML link into your email, or to embed it into a Word. And then the chances of that video getting clicked on are quite slim. So what BombBomb does is it basically pops up this big thumbnail that you can pop into your email, and it auto-plays a video. So when they're on that video, they see your face, the video auto-playing, and the chances of them watching it are higher. So for example, in LA, I know you guys don't have expired listings here, but I guess it's the same thing as a FSBO, for example. Say you're prospecting FSBOs and you dropped off some marketing materials at their front door and you somehow get a hold of their email address, you can send them an email with a video introducing yourself. I guarantee you not many other agents are doing that. So that's a way to, again, humanize yourself and try and build a relationship with them more than just a photo and text, but a personal email as well. And then Chris, he's got you guys a discount if you do want it. Typically we'll offer Chris like a commission to sell this stuff. He's like, no, I don't want a commission, just give them a discount. So if you would like to use BombBomb, you can do that through Leader's Edge. Next, we're going to talk about what type of videos you should post. So first, we're going to build your brand with high quality videos. It's important with everything that we do that everything is high quality. Because if you put out cheap marketing out into the world, people are going to think that you're cheap, and then you're going to attract cheap clients, and then you're going to get a commission or a discounted commission because people don't perceive you as high value. If everything you do is high value, they're gonna think that you are a high value agent, you put 110% into all of your marketing, and they're gonna be more willing and likely to pay you a full commission. So first, the type of video you could do is community profiles. Again, honing on the idea that you are a community expert. We are going to watch this video. I will say note things that you like, but also if you don't like something, that's okay as well. We will talk about it after.
Why on earth would anyone leave here? Except to chase some crazy dream. When I've been gone, coming home and comes into view, it's the most beautiful sight I've ever seen. Sunlight shining through, clouds drifting by, snow peaks melt the rivers clear and blue. With the gray and let it wash you clean, this baptism will make you feel brand new. Back where the rivers run wild and cold, the Rocky Mountains kiss the sky. There's no other place I'd rather go, no other place my spirit flies. I'm coming home. Where the hawks and eagles fly, you can't help but feeling high. Sage at the feet, smell of pine in the trees. You wanna go to church, just step outside. No place more filled with grace on a summer's eve than the red rocks with the stars shining bright. Back where the rivers run wild and cold, and the Rockies kiss the sky. There's no other place I'd rather go, no other place my spirit flies. I'm coming home.
Alright, what do we think about that video? Alright, anyone is it okay? I liked it. So yes, it was too long, right? It felt too long for you. So now we know, watching that video, that when we make a video on our community, not to make it that long, right? What did you say? You liked?
I like that. I want to move there.
You wanted to move there, all right? But that was her goal. So the situation with this is Lyons, Colorado is very close to a town called Boulder, Colorado. And Boulder is known to be incredibly expensive. So expensive to the point that people don't want to move there. And so she wanted to kind of inspire people to know that they could live near Boulder in a much more affordable community. So obviously this isn't more so like, call me to list your house, but it was more so an advertisement for Lions, Colorado, and people watch that and go, oh, like Lions looks really nice. And all the classes, you go, oh, like the margarita looks great, or that pizza looks great, I want to move to Lions. And so her info's at the end, and then they're more willing to call her if they're looking to relocate. Anything else we liked or didn't like?
The music was nice.
The music was nice?
Easy listening.
Easy listening. That's interesting. A lot of classes, they actually hate the music. You would have picked something else. All right, so again, see, we have different opinions. Some people really liked the music, and some people thought it was too slow.
Some of the images match the lyrics as well.
Sorry?
Some of the images match the lyrics.
Yeah, some of the images match the lyrics. She was very thoughtful in that department.
Probably
Older demographic. Yeah. Yeah. So again, I hope that showcases though that some of you like it, some of you don't. But we all work with very different clientele. So think about what is your clientele going to like and then lean into it. The music, for example, you really enjoyed the music, but I've also met people who are like, oh, that music was way too slow. I want something more energetic and upbeat. So again, we are all very different in terms of our preferences. Next, we can do our how-to tips for sellers and buyers. Again, we have a wealth of knowledge and information as agents. A great exercise that I think all of you should do this week is sit down, get a piece of paper, split the paper down in half, buyers and sellers, and think about every single possible question a buyer and seller have asked you about the home buying and selling process. I guarantee you on that list, you'll probably have 40 to 50 video topics right there for you to talk about, 60 seconds each. So please do that exercise this week. I think that'll be really great for you to have some ideas on what to post. But also, as an agent, if you're a listing agent, we know that preparing a house for market is much more complex than just throwing it onto the MLS. There are so many steps. So this is actually a video example for my own YouTube channel of getting a home prepared for market. So we'll go ahead and watch that.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my channel and a brand new video. And today we are doing my favorite type of video, a before and after transformation of getting home prepared for market. And in fact, this new listing is a collaboration with a subscriber whose parents are selling their townhome here in Mesita, California. So without further ado, I'm going to share with you everything that I do to get a home prepared for market to get it sold to top dollar. Favorite day of the entire home transformation process. It's just so incredibly satisfying and amazing to see how professionally staged furniture and decor can completely change the way you perceive a space and how a buyer can perceive the value of your home. Here's the before and here's the after. We are officially live on the market. I have my full open house set up over here. And I'm going to show off this snack tray I put together for my VIP neighborhood open house. So I'm doing an open house from 1 to 2 specific for neighbors, and then 1 from 2 to 5 for the public. That way the neighbors have a chance to check it out without the crowd, and also get some nice treats. Cause I'm fed up with it crazy. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching the before and after transformation. If you're interested to know about the process specific to your home and how to get your home sold for top dollar, don't be shy, give me a call, go ahead and email me. I'll be happy to help you and walk you through the steps. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in my next video. Let's talk about how I'm trying to film a video introduction, and I have now made a best friend. So, that cat.
I was filming my video and it kept circling around me for like 20 minutes. And so I was like, oh, this thing is so darn cute. So I sat down and petted it for a while, and then I was like, I'm gonna pick you up and then put you in my video. And then I was at this house a week ago before I left for my trip with Chris, and the same cat was there when I pulled up in my car. So I think this cat and I are very much bonded. It's very cute, right? Alright, so that's an example of a video you guys can do. Film the process of you getting a listing ready for market. Really will help people see how you work, how you do things, your vendors, all of that stuff. It can really showcase your value as an agent. I will also say with this video, this was filmed exactly how I'm teaching you guys to film today. Filmed on my iPhone, I had a tripod, I had my gimbal, I edited on iMovie, I used music from Epidemic Sound, which was the music platform that we shared earlier. Everything I'm teaching today is what I utilize in my own business. Yes?
What's the time that it takes for you to edit?
That's a fantastic question. So editing, for me now is much quicker than when I started. So when I started, it took me a good few hours to edit a video. And it depends on the complexity of the video, because if I have a million different clips going at the same time, it takes more time to piece them together. But now I can probably knock that out in a couple hours. It's time consuming, I'm not gonna lie. It's a time consuming thing to start a YouTube channel, but it has brought me, this was a subscriber's listing. I wouldn't have gotten this listing had I not had a YouTube channel. I wouldn't have the client that I have here in Toronto because of my YouTube channel. But definitely when I first started learning how to edit on iMovie, I couldn't even figure out how to upload my videos into the platform. So I would Google it and then do it, and then like, okay, how do I split the clip? I have no idea how to split the clip. So then I would go on my phone, Google how to do it, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was a huge learning process. Learning curve. As anything that we do in this business, there's always a learning curve to some degree on everything that we do. So yes, it takes a couple hours, more than a couple hours in the beginning, but over time we'll get a hang of it. All right, any other questions? Okay. So you can also do FAQ topics of the week. So again, do that buyer and seller list, all the common questions that a buyer and seller could have. That's 40 or 50 video talks for you right then and there. This is an example of me talking about Zillow's estimates and why we shouldn't trust them. I know we all hate Zillow as agents. I will also say this was one of the first videos I ever filmed, ever. And I was 21 at the time, and it's painful for me to watch back and look at it because I feel like I've grown and developed so much in my skills. But I guess you could look at it as if you were getting started today, what your video could also kind of look like too.
Zest or not to zest. Hey guys, my name is Verrier. I'm sure all of you have seen those Zestimates up on Zillow's website claiming what they think your home is worth. The big question is, can you trust it? There is no time to waste, and so we're going to jump straight to the answer, and the answer is no. And unfortunately, on a majority of cases, Zillow's estimates are always or usually inaccurate. And the reason for that is that their algorithm is based on public data. They don't specifically go into each individual home to evaluate its current condition. And it doesn't account for any upgrades that you've made over the years, renovations, or any amount of money that you've invested into your home to increase its value. So say you and your neighbor are technically comparable. You both live on the same street, you live right next door to each other, you have the same square footage of your home, number of bedrooms and bathrooms, and online you would both be deemed comparable. You would be given a similar assessment amount. That being said, Zillow doesn't go into each individual's home to account for all the upgrades that they've made. So say your neighbor hasn't done any renovations whatsoever, they've been living there since the 1960s, and you moved in recently, you added a brand new chef's kitchen, in-home movie theater, redid all the landscaping, whatever it may be, you somehow added value to your home. That being said, Zillow has no idea that you've made those improvements, and that will be deemed as comparable to you and your neighbor, even though your home is worth an incredible amount more. Now, an incredibly ironic story that I love to tell when I get asked about the reliability of estimates is that the CEO of Zillow himself, Spencer Rapscott, recently put his home on the market for sale earlier this year in March. He listed his home in Brentwood Park with a whopping $7 million over his estimate value. That really just puts into perspective that almost all homes are typically inaccurate, and the CEO of Zillow himself can say that. Now, if that story isn't enough to convince you about the reliability of Zillow's estimates, then I don't know what else can. That being said, if you are interested in what your home is currently worth at this moment in time, Click the link down below and you will fill out a quick questionnaire where I will be able to provide you with a free market evaluation. I will get that to you as soon as possible. But that being said, thank you for watching this video today. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comment them down below and make sure that you subscribe and smash that like button. My name is Verrier and I'll see you guys next time. Chris always makes fun of me and says, why do you say smash the like button? That's a great question. I don't say it anymore. Anyone want to take a guess as to where I filmed that video? Bathroom. Yeah, so it was not filmed in the bathroom, but it's a good guess. I got some crazy answers. You did it in the bathtub. I was like, I don't know, it's a little far-fetched. This video, because it was the first video I ever filmed, it was lacking in camera equipment. I was balancing on my mattress that I sleep on, and I had duct taped a marble-looking cloth to the wall behind me, and I filmed myself. So you would never have expected that watching that video, but again, it's all perception. So as long as what's in frame looks good, it doesn't really matter what's going on around you. So again, you don't need to be in a fancy studio to film a good video. You don't need to hire a videographer. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on video equipment. This is all very affordable to do on your own. Next to getting property tours, obviously if you have a listing, you want to promote it. And again, people love watching property tours. I think that's why a lot of people get into real estate. And that's why all those shows are so successful. So we're going to watch another video example from my channel. I will say that even as myself, I'm constantly growing and changing how I do things. And looking back on this video, I would tell myself to make this video shorter as well. But we're all learning, we all make mistakes, but we will go ahead and watch that video. Welcome to LA's hottest and newest listing. Today we are in the heart of Beverly Hills. And right behind me, we're standing in front of 3232 Castle Heights Avenue. This is a stunning mid-century modern home that features 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2,223 square feet of living space. Currently offered for $2,325,000. Additional property information will be linked down below. But other than that, let's go check out what this gorgeous home has to offer. We just wanna party, call me tequila shawty. We just wanna party, yeah. Hearing your friends, we were minded. We just came to dance and go all night long. The look in your eyes, you can't hide it. Now, this home has an amazing open floor plan. Directly as you come in through the front door, you'll be welcomed by your formal living room, directly connected into your dining room. Off the dining room, we have your first 2 bedrooms, and past the dining room, it leads directly to the back door of the house, which is where your kitchen is, family room, and master bedroom. We're on our way. Turn that music up, you know we don't give a what. On our way, we're on our way. Pull up to the party like my name is alive. Tension so thick, you could cut with a knife. Ask me how I do that, bitch, lessons way back. Ask me how I do that, yeah. Friends, we were minded. We just came to dance and go all night long. The look in your eyes, you can't hide it. Ooh, baby, I know I turn you on. Now, let's talk about this absolutely stunning chef's kitchen that I'm standing in right now. If you look over here, this is custom bamboo cabinetry. A lot of detail went into designing this place. Not to mention, of course, stainless steel appliances, a Thermador Professional Series range, and the very best part, a sub-zero wine fridge that holds up to 147 bottles of wine. Hands to the sky if you feel the vibe. We ain't gonna stop for nothing. Put your hands to the sky if you catch a vibe. We ain't gonna stop for nothing. Now, this is the ultimate entertainer. And the reason why I say that is you have not only 1, but 2 living spaces. The one right behind me has 14-foot ceilings, which makes it really open and airy. So much natural sunlight here. I mean, you have windows coming in from every corner of the house, which really adds to the energy of the home. Not to mention,
this room flows straight into the kitchen, and you have an outdoor deck. Now, I know you want to see the other suite, so without further ado, let's go check out the best room in the house. Now, a great perk about this home that you may not have known is that in addition to the main house, you actually have a detached and permitted 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom in the backyard. This is great for a bonus space, extra room, if you have guests staying with you, or if you want to rent it out as an ADU and bring in some rental income. So let's go check it out. So before you ask, why did I not move that ladder? That is a fantastic question. I ask myself that every time I watch this video. I should have done that. But I want to share something with you guys about this video. To be completely blunt and honest with you, that was not my listing. But if you watched that, you would probably think that I'm out there selling $2 million plus homes. And so again, it all goes back to perception. And the reason why I tell you that is I know there's a good chunk of you in this room that are brand new. And when you're brand new, you don't have many deals going on for you. You don't have any listings that you can showcase to build your business. And this is why agent-to-agent relationships are so important. And so this was a colleague's listing. I have a really good relationship with her. I've known her since I ever got into the business. And I was like, hey, do you mind if I film your listing? It's great marketing exposure for her. And she's like, yeah, I want you to be successful. Go out there and film it. You know, obviously, you need to be careful. You can't go into the video and say, this is my listing, when it's not. But there are ways to word things in a way where you're not technically lying, but you're technically telling the truth, you know what I'm saying? But again, have that conversation with that agent if you are allowed to film. If the agent wants you to say it's their listing, obviously do that. This is a business where you need to ask permission and not forgiveness later. But again, if you are new in this business, you still have the opportunity to build a platform that makes you look like you're doing business, even if you're not. So reviews from past clients, this is another great way to showcase yourself as an agent. Now this is of a team.
Sorry, question.
Yes.
Did you take that video yourself, or did you have a videographer?
All by myself.
Okay.
All on my
It's very
iPhone.
time consuming to like
Yes.
put those together.
Yes.
You actually sell real estate too.
I typically will edit my videos at night, to be completely honest. I personally really enjoy it. So, when you enjoy what you do, it doesn't feel as much like work. But it was very time consuming. But to me, I saw the value in it. I will say if you can, and you want to hire someone to film or edit for you, obviously you can do that, go ahead and do that. My approach to today's class is that for those who aren't in that position, to feel like they can also do it themselves as well.
So you just shot like a bunch of different scenes and then put it all together?
Exactly. Yes.
What did you use, iMovie?
iMovie. I use iMovie for everything, completely free. Thank you for bringing that up. If you notice, I don't just pan the rooms because it gets boring. So I try to add dimension to the video. Just how staging is so important for bringing to life a listing, creating a lifestyle. I look at it as the same for video content. I want to create a storyline with the videos. I want to create an emotion, portray a certain lifestyle. So you'll notice I would focus on certain things in the house to kind of bring that to life. So doing different shots, keeping it very diverse, focusing on the staging, or maybe there's a highlight point of the house that I wanted to showcase. But yes, I would take many little clips and then clip them all together into iMovie.
So your camera roll is probably like full.
Yes.
It could be.
Tina was actually trying to get my computer to work faster, and she got mad at me. She's like, "You have 60,000 videos and photos," and so I was like, I ended up having to get a new computer because I couldn't hold all of that storage. But of course, if you can always go back and delete stuff. I personally don't like deleting things. I'm like, what if I need that in the future? Or like, what if I want to make a video? So I personally keep onto everything, but you can always delete them afterwards. Yes.
Yeah, an external hard drive, very inexpensive.
Yes.
Like a 4 terabyte.
Yes.
A couple $100 and just dump all your videos over there.
Yeah, not even a couple hundred. I have one from Amazon that's like $40-50. So those work too. Yes. So the backstory in this video, if you've ever met Chris, you know he's been teaching for decades. And he had a student that he met 15 years ago who was on their last $1,000. He had a pregnant wife, absolutely no money in his bank account. He was trying to make it in this career. And he showed up at Chris's doorstep and said, "Is this really going to work? If I give you my last $1,000, am I going to have success?" This guy now, 15 years later, he sold 1,004 homes in 1 year, made $10 million in 1 year, and is now developing a $58 million apartment complex. That's his current project. So this is a video that they had filmed for their team. And you'll notice it's funny, all of them look exactly the same. They all have the same haircut, the FBI agent haircut, and they all wear the same navy blue suit. You'd never be able to identify who's who, but that's kind of like the style of their brand. So we'll go ahead and watch that.
I'm Roxanne West from Bonjour Bliss blog. I'm a lifestyle blogger. This is my husband, Craig West. Craig's an engineer, but on the side, we like to renovate houses together.
We bought our last 2 houses through Ferris team, as well as this current one.
We actually found this house through their VIP listings, saw it, fell in love with the potential, and we got started. Our last house sold very easy through my Instagram. It wasn't even listed yet, and it sold so quickly. Thought it would be that simple again, which it wasn't. And when we couldn't sell it ourselves, we thought, who better than to sell our home than Ferris team?
After we met with Ferris team, we saw the things that they brought to the table, and especially the things that we were missing.
Big time.
We met with them and knew we were going to work with them.
A lot of people ask us, why on earth are we leaving this home? We've always wanted to build another investment property on the water, whether it's a lake house or a beach house. That's just what we're craving to do next.
So I think that client testimonials can be really powerful for our business, just how Kate had them in her Vancouver video. It does add a level of trust. So if you are able to recruit clients to do testimonial for you, definitely lean into that. Your personal profile, let people get to know you. That's another great video content example that you can do. So this is an example of a woman who is in Manhattan Beach. This is about an hour south from where I live. She was actually in the same class as me when I met Chris earlier this year. I will say this video has had some controversial opinions about it. Some people have liked it and some people haven't. So we'll watch that and then get your opinion afterwards.
I'm Ray Lord. Welcome to the South Bank.
I sell real estate in Manhattan Beach with Coldwell Banker. We have a #1 location in the Metlock Center. Coldwell Banker is #1 in luxury real estate throughout the world. We're in 50 countries, 86 million in sales in luxury real estate every day. View Magazine is a huge marketing tool exclusive to Coldwell Banker, and I use that in my marketing plan, and it helps me sell my luxury properties throughout the world. I'm a certified previews property specialist. I've had to have sold many properties over $2 million and luxury real estate throughout the South Bay. My clientele is vast. I work with doctors, attorneys, I work with sports relocation, and I also work with business professionals. My clients love working with me because I'm professional, I'm on time, I negotiate, and I'm strong. A day in the life of Ray Lord is very busy. I negotiate deals, I close sales, handle my escrows, millions of dollars in transactions cross my desk daily. I do everything. What don't I do in a day? In Manhattan Beach, we have a wonderful school system. We've got a great family environment. We have the beach. We have a lifestyle where before I even come into the office in the morning, I can skate, I can surf, I can do CrossFit, all within walking distance to my office, and I can still be here, be a professional by 9 a.m. and sell luxury real estate. My friends always say, what's your favorite part of the day? And I say, when I write. I like writing, and that means writing a contract, writing an offer, negotiating the deal, and getting an accepted offer. And there is nothing better than calling your client saying, you got the house. This is the South Bay. Why aren't you here?
What do you think about the video? You like it? Okay, so she was very more self-focused, stroking her ego a little bit. Okay, but you might say she doesn't have a personality, but if you met her in person, that is her personality. That's what I'm saying though. So some of you really liked her. She's like, oh, she's not messing around. She's cut to the chase, no BS. This is how I do business. And some people are like, oh, she doesn't seem approachable enough for me. So going back to the whole, we all attract very different clientele, especially in the price point that she's working in. So if you don't know Manhattan Beach, the average, homes average will sell 4, 5, 6, 7 million in this neighborhood. A lot of these people are rich and don't have time for BS, essentially, and they want someone who's going to just cut to the chase. And you'll notice that she's like, I work with doctors, I work with lawyers, so I will give her credit in the sense of she knows who she wants her target demographic to be, and she's not messing around. But again, yeah, some of you like it, some of you don't. Anything else that we picked up that we liked or didn't like? Did the coffee wear off?
Her stats were a little confusing. When she started talking about things, she said she did 2 million deals.
Okay, so the message was a little unclear for you.
$2 million, or what was it? I wasn't sure.
Okay, I think she's saying 2 million plus price point wise for the deal. But I see what you're saying, it's a little confusing. You weren't exactly sure. Okay, all right. So I hope that gives you some ideas if you compare this one to Kate's, to Joseph's video. Everyone's very different. Everyone knows their clientele. So think about who do you want to be in this business? Charitable causes and volunteer work, this is another great thing to showcase. I believe that if you give, you will receive. We want to show our clients, we want to show our community that we are contributing to the community, not just taking. So for example, in LA, I donate blood a lot, and I always tell myself when I'm donating blood, I'm like, hey, look, I'm donating blood, bringing awareness to the shortage in the US. I don't know if there's a shortage out here, but showcasing to people that I am contributing to the community. This is Canva, as I mentioned earlier. Canva is really amazing. If you haven't tried it yet, please go home and play around with it. It is completely free. They do have a pro version. I will say this is one of the platforms that I do believe in investing in the pro. So I pay $12.95 a month. But I wouldn't get the pro version until you play with it enough to know that you do want the pro version. They have a great access for stock photos and videos that you can implement into your business so you can avoid getting sued like I did. So please check this out. They have templates for everything. For example, my latest project, as I said, I go to the gym every single morning, and I'm starting to kind of pick up people that see me every day and start friendships and relationships with people. And so I'm currently designing a t-shirt where it has my logo in the front, my first and last name, real estate, and then my Instagram handle in the back. So that when I'm at the gym, people who have seen me from time to time will start to notice my t-shirt, and they'll look me up on Instagram and see that I'm in real estate, and that's going to spark the opportunity to have a conversation and perhaps get a new client. And I can do all that on Canva as an example. They print things and send them to you, super user-friendly. But you will ask, what image shape do I use? Horizontal, vertical, square? To this I say stop overthinking it. If it looks good, just post it. You want to check your photos on a larger screen if possible. Just make sure that everything is in the highest quality possible. I'm not an Android user, but if you're an iPhone user, in your settings, if you go to camera settings, you can set your video to be shot in 4K at 60 frames per second. I would do this in your settings so that everything you shoot is in the highest quality possible. You want to edit your photos before posting. Your phone app will have this, Instagram has this, there's so many third-party apps as well that you can download. Just pick one that you're comfortable with, that you use the most, and then really lean into it. You can also get free stock photos at pexels.com. That's a great source as well, in addition to Canva. And in text banner, so use keywords in the comments, just as we were saying earlier. Use hashtags, but also use your location. Every single post that I use, I will put in my location, because this is going to pop you into a specific bubble. So if someone looked up Milton, for example, you want all of your posts and content to be popping up so you have a chance of being discovered if someone's checking out what Milton is like on Instagram. And Instagram has become more of a platform to find local businesses and top restaurants and top places. So you want to make sure that your name is in that mix. So we're now going to do, we have 10 minutes left of class. So for the last 10 minutes, and then we can say, if you want to stay for an extra 5 minutes or so, you're welcome to go once we hit 12:30. But I think one of the biggest complaints that people have is not knowing what to post. I don't know what to post. So I would say within your groups, take 10 minutes and write down as many ideas as you can possibly think of what you can post. And it doesn't have to be video, but write down what kind of post it's going to be and where you're going to post it and what the topic is on. And then we can come together for 5 minutes and share any ideas that you might have. So we can all go home today with a paper with a full list of ideas, so you have some ideas for the next coming weeks to post on social media.